birthday, he asked how much this painting will be. I said, you know what, I cannot charge president of the best country. It's going to be my birthday gift. So he grabbed it. He made sure that security will not touch it with bare hands. So he was so all over this painting. And then when I found out that he keep it on his screen phone to see it always, I understood that he really loves it.
Tell me about your nickname. You've got a nickname?
Michelangelo, yeah.
Michelangelo. Who came up with that? That's very cool.
I have to thank New York Post because it was their idea to call me Michelangelo from New Jersey. I am grateful. My art in the White House, my art piece, which represents the president himself, signed as a Michelangelo. Cool. And I think it's a great name. I'm not chasing glory, I'm not chasing fame, but I like this name because it represents myself. And you know, beside Mr. Trump and his first portrait in this Free America series, a lot of patriots have it. Tom Homan, Rudy Giuliani, Kash Patel, Steve Bannon. So a lot of people are inside this collection. I painted recently Melania Trump as well, and I hope one day this art piece will take a place beside her husband portrait in the White House as the best first lady.
Amazing. That's beautiful. I mean, we've got some of your artwork here with us in studio today. This is just beautiful. Again, homage to some of these leaders that we've seen throughout American history as we celebrate our 250th year. So that is just gorgeous. Great work that you've done here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Where can people find out more about you? Really?
The triumphs and challenges of the global church. Christian World News. Weeknights at 5:30 on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative. Good morning. You're tuned to the Dove. Encouraging and informative. Helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you and welcome to Mornings on the Dove. A beautiful day in the neighborhood it is, and it's a beautiful day for us to have our buddy Steve Johnson joining us live from Tucson, Arizona this morning. He has his cup of mug.
I had to reach over to get it. It's kind of in the distance here, but you got to have the coffee this morning.
Got to have the coffee. There it is. And how you doing, buddy? How are things down there? Hot?
You know what, though? It's a dry heat. You know what? It's not bad. It really isn't bad. I was actually standing outside yesterday, and somebody came up next to me, and we were talking, and he goes, well, I'll let you get out of the heat. And it's like, I don't know. Am I acclimating myself to it? I don't know. It wasn't too bad. Hey, it's hot, but it's hot where you are too.
Yeah, well, it warmed up and cooled off, and it's going to warm up a little bit this weekend or this week, and then cool off towards the weekend again. So pretty nice weather all the way around. Good morning. Well, a lot going on. Well, it looks like the UK is going to look for another prime minister. I guess we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Kind of a shock this morning. Wake up that Prime Minister Starmer has resigned. I don't know what the protocols are from here, but we'll find out, I'm sure. The weather is beautiful, and there's a lot going on in the news, so we will check that out. Anything special today?
Yeah, Jimmy Buffett had a song. The weather is here, wish you were beautiful.
You would know that.
That's a little take on what you were saying. Well, you can heat things up today. It's National Kissing Day. Yeah, heat it up with Peggy.
Okay.
It's the one day out of the year. But you should do it more than one day out of the year.
Well, today's a special day.
Father's Day, Kissing Day.
Well, today's a special day for us.
Do it especially after you've had a big bowl of onion rings. It is National Onion Ring Day. And whatever salsa you would like to have, that's a good thing. You know, I like what is it though? Not exploding blossoms, but it's the one they have.
Oh, the exploding onion.
It's whatever it is.
Yeah,
those are great.
Yeah.
And with the batter sauce. By the way, a lot of people from FIFA that are watching the FIFA games coming over from England and France, they are discovering things like this that they just don't have onion rings like we do. That's just one of the things. We're going to talk about that a little later on as well.
Do you like onion rings on your hamburger?
Oh, yes.
Not with your hamburger, but actually inside with it.
I like both. And then you have them on the side.
There you go.
And use the Chick-fil-A sauce, the dipping sauce, their sauce. Isn't that the best stuff?
It is. It's really, really good.
It is terrific.
Yeah.
Now, don't mix that up, though, with your eclair. It's chocolate eclair day. What goes with a cup of coffee, then a chocolate eclair? Wow.
Now that is one of my weaknesses. That's one of my, and it has.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it has to be filled with the custard, not
Yes.
not whipped
definitely.
cream. Yeah.
And by the way, 1955, Walt Disney's animated film Lady and the Tramp released. 1955. We're talking about a long time ago.
Yeah.
That animation came out, and it still holds up today. So
There you go.
there you go. Have a chocolate eclair after you have your onion rings and watch Lady and the Tramp.
Wow. Good stuff
Why
all
not?
the way around.
You got a plan.
There we go. We got a plan. And we got weather as we check in and find out what it's going to be. Pretty nice. Let's take a look.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny skies persist throughout the region with Vancouver and McMinnville reaching 92. Portland tops out near 93 and Wilsonville climbs to 96 with lows tonight around 60. Through the Willamette Valley, sunny and warm this afternoon with highs near 94 in Salem, low 90s in Albany and Corvallis, and near 90 in Eugene, with overnight lows cooling into the upper 50s. Central Oregon stays sunny with highs near 89 in Prineville and Boise. Bed reaches the mid-80s and Sun River near 84 with a calm northeast wind. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog gives way to sunshine in Coos Bay with highs near 72. Port Orford stays sunny near 69, while Brookings and Crescent City sees sunny to mostly sunny skies in the low 60s. In southern Oregon, sunshine continues across the Rogue Valley. Grants Pass reaches 95, Medford heats up to near 98, Ashland tops out at 93, and Klamath Falls finishes near at 89. Across Northern California, sunny and hot with Wairika near 95. Redding climbs to 102 and Chico reaches the mid-90s, while Fort Bragg starts with patchy fog, then clears to mostly sunny near 59. In the Bay Area, early fog, then gradually clearing to sunshine for Santa Rosa and Napa with highs near 81. San Francisco sees decreasing clouds near 68, while San Jose becomes sunny with temperatures in the mid-80s. For Central California, sunny with highs near 91 in Sacramento, mid-90s in Stockton and Modesto, upper 90s from Fresno and Visalia down to Bakersfield, with lows tonight settling into the upper 50s and 60s. And that's a look at your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
And there's a look from the top of, let's see, Roxy Ann, actually, or Mount Baldy, looking to the north. And just to the left of that is the sun popping up. And it's a beautiful morning in the neighborhood. Really, really, really nice. All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's great.
All right.
I'll ask the guys in the control room if they can turn up the weather forecast a little bit in my earpiece. That would be wonderful.
Okay.
By the way, Dr. David Jeremiah, we know who he is, of course.
Yes.
I met him once in an elevator. He was with a grandkid who had
really?
been he was holding the grandkid, and all the people were, oh, what a cute little baby. And he, of course, was saying, that grandkid's probably about 45 right now.
Well, he's a great guy. You remember Gary Huvlik? Did you ever?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, Gary, he's from UCB, New Zealand,
Right.
and they had the Shine TV over there, Michael Brown, all that. So anyway, he had arranged to interview David Jeremiah. So I went up and sat down during that whole interview when they were doing the interview at the NRB, and here is Gary Huvlik, who is just under 7 feet.
Is that right? Is he that tall?
I mean, he's really a tall guy.
Yeah.
And then standing next to him, almost eye to eye, was Dr. David
Wow.
Jeremiah. He's a big guy.
That's all. Amazing.
Yeah. So anyway,
He was wearing his elevator shoes. Should have. Have you seen those ads? Get the heel that's another inch and a half. Somehow you feel superior. I don't know. I think that's something David Jeremiah could talk about.
okay.
Feel insecure. But he says that, when we give the Holy Spirit complete access to our life, that's when the Holy Spirit can work inside us.
So we say, all right, Lord, you know what I want, and my life is clean now, and I've confessed my sin. Now I'm just going to give you control in my business, in my home, in my free time, in every part of me. Lord, you've got it all. No strings attached, no clauses, no reservations. You got me. Someone has illustrated this as a house with a bunch of rooms in it. Jesus wants access to every room in your life. He wants to control. You can't lock him out of some rooms. You can't say, no, this is my thing over here, Lord. I'll take care of this. You got all the rest of it, but I got this. He wants absolute, total control. God knows you better than anyone else knows you. God loves you more than anyone else loves you. And God is more powerful than anyone else could ever be, can accomplish in you what no one else can do. So why wouldn't you want to give your life over to Him and His Spirit in your heart? You have to have a desire to be filled. You have to denounce sin in your life. You have to dedicate yourself completely to the Lord. And the Bible says that when we do these things, the Holy Spirit will take control.
Amen to that. Good stuff all the way around. All right, let's take a look at some of the top stories on this Back at It Monday morning at 8 minutes past the hour. And of course, the lead story is that Prime Minister Starmer did present, well, he called His Majesty the King to let him know that this morning he would be resigning, and he just did that. He stepped out in front of 10 Downing Street and said that he will no longer serve as Prime Minister, and he'll be stepping aside. A lot of this is primarily under the pressure of a lot of losses, not only in the election, but even a devastating labor revolt within his own party wants him gone. So he is out, and I don't know what the Labour Party is going to do, or does this open the door for Farage to come in? I don't know. And I don't know if they go into immediate elections, or does he stay on somewhat as overseer until October? So it's kind of a mystery. I don't know the procedure. Do you, Steve?
Well, no. I think, look, they've had 6 prime ministers in the last 10 years, and they're saying this is getting ridiculous. So yeah. I have a feeling they'll want to fix that as soon as possible. We do have some comments, though, from Starmer when he resigned.
Yeah, here's what he had to say.
The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question, and I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
Okay.
I was looking at some of the comments you were saying about why did he resign. There's a whole shopping list of numbers, from the economy to immigration. I know President Trump was ticked off at him because of immigration and a few other things, but it wasn't any one thing. It looks like one commentary said he was a guy who did not have a big plan.
No,
they just didn't know what he was trying to do, and that doesn't work.
I think the other thing that became obvious on this is that he literally was in over his head. He just couldn't get a handle on it. He was allowing for the arresting of citizens, basically doing nothing. He did not address the coexistence of Sharia law with common law and parliamentary law. His own party pretty much got fed up with him, which is kind of a little bit of an indictment on the party because they put him in.
Yeah, right.
So we'll see what happens. But new day in the UK, and the only thing I can say is the UK, I'm hoping that the citizens will wake up. By the way, there was quite the evangelistic outreach. Over 60,000 people showed up at a outdoor Christian rally over the weekend. So there is an underground spiritual movement inside the UK, which is certainly good.
Well, that is a good thing, because I've seen people being arrested just for praying.
Yes.
And it's crazy. I mean, this is the place where we thought there was freedom of religion, and now that's in doubt.
Well, it was the birth of our own Christianity, so to speak. Yeah. And so, anyway, bad day. So anyway, in the meantime, back over to the Middle East. Is the deal going to fall apart? A lot of indications that it's not holding together. The president said that he will resume attacks if Iran does not restrain Hezbollah. As you know, Hezbollah did kill 8 military leaders of Israel Israeli military leaders, and that seems to be falling apart. I don't know what to say about this. Apparently, Vance Day, the vice president's on his way to Switzerland. I don't know.
Yeah, he gave a news conference and he said, well, now we've got 60 days. And I'm looking at that thing. Boy, that's a lot of time in the Middle East for anything to go wrong, really. It has to do both, you're right, with Iran as well as with Israel and peace in the region. Jared Kushner was with him, Steve Witkoff. They're both trying to get deals there, but Hezbollah is still kind of flexing their muscles in some areas. And even though I would say that Vance sounded like he was optimistic. Over the weekend, the president said he has not changed his stance on the Middle East and Iran.
I've made clear from the beginning of Operation Epic Fury that we will continue until our objectives are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions are ongoing. Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and much more reasonable. Yet if during this period of time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets. If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously.
Okay, so this is a complete change. Look, I think he's now, if I can use the term, waving the saber in the air to cover up from the fact that the deal's fallen apart. And so we'll have to wait and see how this is going to go, but it doesn't look good. And so that we all know, a memorandum of understanding, the goal of that was to get the 60-day ceasefire so that within the 60 days they could put a hard deal together that they would all agree to. So the MOUs, 14 points, now are falling apart, which were going to be the prefaces of setting up a 60-day ceasefire. So I don't know where we are with all of this. But if he's now saying we're going to go in and pound on them and still try to negotiate, you got to ask yourself, where is this going to go?
Right.
I really don't know. Well, changes being what they are, so the UK is going to get a new prime minister, and the UN is going to get a new secretary general. The gentleman that seems to be in place for that is Macky Sall. And he is saying this, and this is his quote: "My first message to President Trump is first to congratulate him on his action on peace," he said in a phone interview ahead of his recent trip to Washington, D.C. He's a peace builder. So it looks like the Secretary General coming into the UN could be a little bit more supportive of President Trump, which is kind of interesting.
Let's hope. I think so many people have seen the UN as a political arm for the left. We'll have to see what Macky Sall is going to do. Can he renovate it? One person? We'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. The other story that's kind of interesting, you know, all eyes are on Texas and Florida. That's where everybody seems to be going because of taxes, you know. Well, apparently there's another red state that's starting to blossom that could be outperforming all of them. And guess who it is? You have any idea?
Well, I've looked it up.
Oh, you looked
I could cheat.
Oh, yeah, you know.
But it surprised me because I thought maybe it's Georgia. It's not.
It's North Dakota. North Dakota. Gas production of 41% of the total gas revenue comes out of North Dakota. Another coastal state. Now, I'm wondering if they're putting in refineries and all this and that, but apparently it's attracting a lot of people and a lot of jobs. So you have Florida, Texas, and now you got to throw North Dakota in there. Some people
Time to buy some real estate in North Dakota.
They were throwing Arizona in there and Nevada in there. What's your taxes in Arizona?
Well, taxes, I don't know that they're so bad. I mean, you know, it's a different way than what you have in Oregon. But we're still kind of a blue state. People call us purple. Purple. I'm sorry. It's been going too liberal, and so that's a reason why it won't be like North Dakota.
There you go. All right. Yeah. Are you watching the World Cup? What's going on?
I am. I sat and I watched the whole U.S. I was with a group of people at Buffalo Wild Wings. It was wonderful. The cheering that went on when we won 2-0. You got to be with a group of people. Yeah. Let me ask you this: do you even know what a Buc-ee's is?
No.
See, I didn't know what it was either till I took a trip through the South. It's a huge gas station complex with a store that looks like Walmart, and you'll be driving, and there it is all of a sudden. And I am looking at these videos of people coming from different countries, whether it's the Netherlands, and we've got some video, I think, of the people that are in, look at this in Houston. Look at, orange is a color for the Netherlands. Look how many people are coming in to Houston just to watch the football game, or soccer as we call it. Well, I got to tell you, some of these videos of people posting who come from these other countries are saying, the media has lied to us. They told us don't go to the United States. It's dangerous and terrible. And they are finding things that I was surprised at. They saw a yellow school bus and they said, I thought this was just in the movies. They're actually this big. They went to In-N-Out Burger, Walmart, Costco, Buc-ee's. One of the biggest things is barbecue that they have. It's amazing because they've never had it like this. And we have it all the time.
Of all places for them to land is Texas. Why not?
It is Texas and Boston as well. Those are the two places that they've come in from England, the Netherlands, and France and Germany. Here's some of the comments from the people who are posting, who have come to the United States and says, this is not the way the politicians told us this would be.
Yeah, I don't normally go to fancy restaurants, but like I'm in America with my son, so I'm like, let's go to Texas Roadhouse. It's unbelievable. First of all, they give you these peanuts. You can eat as many as you want. She's like, yeah, just take a bag. Then they come out and they put this bread on the table, and I'm like, oh, I didn't order the bread. It's like, oh, that's free. And it's like, and she goes, and if you want more bread, we'll just give you more. And this bread is... it's as nice as bread can possibly be. Like, if you're an Australian, try and picture the most unbelievable bread, like Subway bread. Got this fancy butter. Then they give you the Coke. Of course, it's America, so it's unlimited refill. And then it was all like ribs and steak and chips. There was an onion that had been deep fried, and you dip it in the sauce. You just leave there so happy. And then Australians are all like, yeah, but in America you've got to tip. No, you don't have to tip. You want to tip. These people are the most wonderful people in the world. I don't even know why you Americans are so angry all the time. You guys have Texas Roadhouse in your country. You should just be walking around wanting to hug everybody.
We owe America a huge apology because America is nothing like what the media tells us. Everyone is so friendly, everyone is so accommodating, and I've honestly had the best time. I fly home Sunday and the English have a song where we say, please don't take me home, I just don't want to go to work. Let me stay here and drink all your beer. And I've never resonated with that song more than in America for this World Cup. I wish I could stay and finish the tournament watching England. So if anyone is out there that can help me make this happen, then please let me know. I want nothing more than to stay in the USA, finish the World Cup, and meet more fantastic Americans.
It is the biggest ambassadorial effect you could possibly have, and I don't think we ever thought this. No. But there are thousands of people from Europe, from Africa, from, as you heard, Australia, and they're all going back to say, we were lied to. And here's one thing. I'm going to have more of this in part 2 tomorrow. And one of the guys says, people say Americans don't travel much. He says, it's because you don't have to. Everything's in America. He said, if I went 45 minutes, I'd be in a different country. He said, you have to fly 5 hours to get to the other coast. You've got California, you've got Oregon, you've got Texas, Florida, you've got the Midwest. And he says, you don't need to go anywhere. You can just vacation in America.
Isn't that interesting? If Europe discovers America and America's discovering Europe, see? So
it's wild. It's wild. But these are the best ambassadors you could possibly have because they're going to go home and say, you won't believe it. You know what other big thing that they like? And they've had to confiscate it at the airport? Ranch sauce. They're coming home trying to smuggle home ranch sauce.
Really?
That's one of the biggest take-homes. That and Twinkies.
Why are they taking it from them?
It's probably because it's in too big of a jug, you know, that kind of a thing. You can only still have a few ounces.
Just put it in a medicine bottle or something.
I put it in, pay extra to have it, you know, sent in baggage.
Oh, gosh.
But, I mean, it is amazing to see these reactions. I'm going to have more in part 2 tomorrow. and I'm blown away by their reaction. One guy talks about the rodeos.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "You guys are tough. In England, these people who get bucked off of Broncos, they'd have the ambulance there." He said they just dust the guy off, give him a beer, and put him on another bull.
Yes, exactly right. All right, well, listen, we're going to go to Outback and have a bloomin' onion. We'll be right back.
That's it.
All right, we'll be right back.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
Welcome back. 25 minutes past the hour. Steve and Perry here with you this morning. And Steve, one of the places these people should go when they come to America to do some looking around would be our own backyard Crater Lake.
Absolutely.
And the largest natural lake, and deepest, I should say. And guess what? They have reopened the trolley service up there. So you can hop on the trolley, and it's a 2-hour guided tour around the lake. And that has now been reopened, and you can check all that out if you've never done that. I highly recommend it. And it's a nice way to enjoy the rim ride if you've never done the rim ride. And so that service is now up and going. So if you get up to Crater Lake and you want to hop on the trolley, it'll take you all the way around. So.
Well, that's a great way of doing it.
Yeah, it is. They also have a bike thing up there. Now, with electric bikes being what they are, that could be kind of cool. If you took
a bike thing, really?
They ride the rim. They have that once a year.
That would be cool. I hope you can get around the whole rim without losing your battery power.
Oh, yep.
Some of that's a little uphill. You'll have to do it yourself.
Well, you that or tow a generator. Just tow a generator with you.
That's right.
All right, here's one for you, Steve. Great. You missed it. You missed it over the weekend. All right, come on. Throw those pictures up there. It was.
Oh man.
It was the Medford Cruise over the weekend. A beautiful show, of beautiful cars, and of course they did the cruise itself, but then they have the show over at the park. Just line after line, a line of classic cars and renewed cars and everything else like that. Things that I'm sure, Steve, you would have really, really enjoyed. So,
you know, I like a lot of those. You had a picture there of like a 40 Ford.
Yeah.
Those are some of my favorites. Oh, but look at 69 Camaro. Oh my word.
There you go.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of things that hardly had any horsepower at all. That's right. There's your car.
The 57
T-Bird. Oh, baby, you like the Thunderbird.
My mother had one of those. There is that, what was that Galaxy that had the removing roof? No, it was like a transformer car, first Ford put out. I forget.
Something that Mercedes have now. It was like a 7-motor convertible, hardtop convertible. That's great.
Anyway, the cruise just went on and on and on and on and on, and it just, you know what's so cool about that is that about Friday, you start seeing these cars all over town driving around.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, there was the big deal, and then Father's Day. So anyway, the Medford Cruise, I want to say to the crew and everybody who puts that together, thank you. Always a very successful and fun thing to do. All right, let's take a look at the satellite image. Here's what's going on. Severe clear up and down the Pacific Northwest, actually from Mexico, California, Oregon, and Washington. We're in for some nice weather and warm weather. So we'll keep a look at that. All right.
As you say, it's severe clear, right?
Severe clear.
All the way through California and Arizona?
All through that.
Yeah. This is kind of interesting. You know, Al Gore hasn't been heard of too much, but he's still making his claims, I should say, about what he says about
global warming.
Aspect of global warming, yes. Well, former Trump transition member Steve Malloy, you might remember him, he responds to a clip of Al Gore claiming that the science behind the statements in his book, An Inconvenient Truth, was dead right, and he made his comments on Fox Business program called The Bottom Line.
When you see the film, do you feel like it still holds up?
Unfortunately, yes, and the scientists were dead right on all the important elements of it. And it really is insane that we are continuing to use the sky as an open sewer, and we're trapping so much heat every day. It's equal to the amount that would be released by 800,000 Hiroshima-class atomic bombs exploding every day on the Earth.
The only thing I think he got right is slavery was real. Climate is a hoax. And it always was. If you watch his movie, in the most dramatic scene where he gets on the ladder, climbs to the top, where and to show that CO2 is going through the roof, what they don't show is that along the bottom line, temperature is just burbling along level, and there's really nothing going on. About a year after he released the movie, a British judge said that the movie could not be shown to British school children without a warning label because so much of the movie was false. About the same time, I did an analysis of the movie myself, and all 25 minutes that were about the science would have been cut out by the ruling of that British judge. What's left is just fluff from Al Gore, which is all we've been getting for the last 20 years as he's accumulated $300 million in personal wealth.
$300 million. Well,
his legacy, though, is one of those things you have to look at and say, choose your legacy correctly. Because I think as time goes on, he's been found to be more incorrect every day, and yet he still keeps harping on some of these things.
Is he in demand? Is he in demand?
I'd probably in some circles, but I think of the some of the producers who made movies like that as well, and they're not being seen at this point either. But as time goes on, he goes, it's like 20 Hiroshima bombs are going off in the atmosphere. It's like, now, what are you talking about? Things are okay. When was the last time you heard about an ozone hole? You don't anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
So choose your battles wisely.
All right. So you never hear about carbon monoxide anymore either.
No. So many of those issues about the problems, they're not problems apparently at this point.
Well, why don't we just cloud the skies with chocolate eclairs?
Oh. I'll take one.
Okay, we'll be right back.
With a few coffee beans.
Oh.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from the Dove TV.
Your sweet tooth just became a force for good. The Salvation Army's Taste Good, Do Good Challenge is on June 5th through the 30th. And local bakeries, restaurants, and shops are serving up exclusive treats you can only get during the challenge. Hit different spots, collect punches, and vote for the best bite in town. And every delicious stop helps support local kids and veterans right here in our community. Start your adventure at tastegooddogood.net.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. Oh, shine.
All right, 1:30, 26 minutes before the hour on a beautiful Monday morning as we head down toward the, looks like a warming up week. Here we'll see in the mid to high 90s. And for you down there, Steve?
Hot. I haven't, I'm scared to look at what the temperature is going to be. But it's been mostly in the low to mid 90s.
Okay.
I'll look it up.
All right, good stuff. All right, so let's check, hot. All right, let's check in with CBN News and get the latest.
This week, President Trump and Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian ended the Iran war with their memorandum of understanding. But questions remain for what it means for Israel, Iran, and the region's future. Here's the latest on these and other stories.
President Trump signed the Memorandum of Understanding to end the war with Iran at a dinner in Versailles last night, while Iranian state television showed photos of President Pezeshkian signing the MOU in Iran. Wednesday, the White House released the text of the MOU, which includes an immediate and permanent halt to war on all fronts, including Lebanon, a commitment not to restart war against each other, and ensures the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Lebanon. Iran is also allowed to retain its missiles, and U.S. and regional partners will formulate a plan of, quote, at least $300 billion for the reconstruction and economic development of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Iran commits not to seek a nuclear weapon, but the details are left to negotiations over a 60-day period. President Trump said he made the deal to avoid an economic catastrophe.
If you kept this going, that could have happened. But all I know is every time we talked about the possibility of peace, the stock market shot up like a rocket ship.
Trump emphasized that this is only a memorandum of understanding, and if Iran violates the terms, they won't get the money and he'll return to war.
It's only $300 billion fund. It's only if they're doing things right. Remember this also, when you talk about billions of dollars, they've had much more than $1 trillion worth of damage done. No, we're going to bomb the hell out of them if they violate the agreement. I don't want them to. I want them to honor the agreement.
Israel is not in favor of the deal with Iran. The most pressing concern is its fight against Hezbollah in Lebanon. The Iranian-backed terror group has continued its attacks against northern Israel and IDF troops in Lebanon. An Israeli soldier was killed and 7 others wounded in 2 separate attacks on Wednesday. The Jerusalem Post quoted senior security officials saying that the economic blockade against Iran was working and the regime could not sustain if America had kept up the pressure. Israeli lawmaker Ohad Tal of the Religious Zionism Party blasted the deal in an interview with the Media Line. The agreement with the Iranians is a bad deal, period. It leaves them with their uranium, their missile program, and their ability to spread terrorism around the world, while funneling money to the regime that will only strengthen it and advance its extremist ambitions. Tal said Lebanon should not be included in the U.S.-Iran deal. What happens in Iran is President Trump's issue, but what happens in Lebanon is Israel's concern alone. There are opponents in the U.S. as well, like conservative commentator Ben Shapiro.
President deciding to go into Iran and to hit nuclear facilities in Operation Midnight Hammer, and then to go after Iran's ballistic missile facilities and nuclear facilities, Army, Navy, and Air Force in this current operation was the signal act of political bravery, perhaps, of my lifetime. With that said, this MOU appears to be, just from the text, a disaster that does not achieve any of the actual signal goals that were set by the administration at the beginning.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance postponed a trip to meet Iranian negotiators in Switzerland today, delaying the talks to implement the agreement between Tehran and Washington. Iran reportedly is refusing to send negotiators due to continued fighting between Hezbollah and Israel in Lebanon. One day after the signing, CENTCOM announced that it's lifted its blockade on Iranian ports. And time-lapse video shows merchant vessels are once again moving through the Strait of Hormuz after weeks of disruption. Meanwhile, the agreement is creating tension with Israel, with some government ministers saying they should disregard the deal. Vice President J.D. Vance said, quote, "The whole freakout in Israel is a little bit odd."
If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world. Over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. Donald J. Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment in time.
Vance also defended President Trump's position that Iran may retain some missile capabilities.
You can't tell a country, whether Israel or Iran, they're not allowed to have any self-defense.
The vice president insisted any final agreement would still prevent Iran from developing missiles capable of threatening the wider world.
What we want to see is Iran not trying to rebuild their nuclear weapons program. That's the main thing.
But questions remain about Iran's nuclear program. A leaked version of the memorandum indicates its stockpile of enriched uranium will not be taken from Iran, but will remain inside the country and be diluted under international supervision. Vance also addressed the fighting in Lebanon.
We expect Hezbollah is not going to be firing rockets and firing drones at the Israelis, and we also expect that the Israelis are not going to be going wild in Lebanon.
While Iran has demanded Israel withdraw its troops from a buffer zone in Lebanon, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel will not pull back.
Because this zone separates Hezbollah terrorists from our citizens and our communities.
Overnight, an IDF tank battalion commander and 3 other soldiers were killed in a Hezbollah attack in southern Lebanon. The IDF responded with strikes early this morning on Hezbollah operatives and infrastructure across southern Lebanon in response to repeated violations of the ceasefire by the Iranian-backed terror group.
Well, I'm going to have Robert Spencer on, who's pretty much an expert on all this as far as what's going on in Iran. The bottom line is, can we trust these people to come to the table? And the president's frustrated now that the proxies, basically Hezbollah, is killing Israelis. And I don't know how you get a ceasefire and a peace agreement out of that.
Well, and the question also, I think, is 60 days. That's like forever in the Mideast. So what could happen in a 2-month period of time? You name it, and it could happen while they're trying to talk about a full peace agreement.
Yeah, it's just kind of interesting because time delay for that mindset in the Middle East is basically a reload. And and I think most people are beginning to see this. So I don't know. I would say that this thing has got a lot of problems with it, and we'll see if it holds. But right now it's not, and we'll have to see how the day goes. But wow, a lot there. All right, let's check out the weather because it's kind of nice, kind of warm, kind of interesting.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny skies persist throughout the region, with Vancouver and McMinnville reaching 92. Portland tops out near 93, and Wilsonville climbs to 96 with lows tonight around 60. Through the Willamette Valley, sunny and warm this afternoon with highs near 94 in Salem, low 90s in Albany and Corvallis, and near 90 in Eugene, with overnight lows cooling into the upper 50s. Central Oregon stays sunny with highs near 89 in Prineville and Boise. Bed reaches the mid-80s and Sun River near 84 with a calm northeast wind. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog gives way to sunshine in Coos Bay with highs near 72. Port Orford stays sunny near 69, while Brookings and Crescent City sees sunny to mostly sunny skies in the low 60s. In southern Oregon, sunshine continues across the Rogue Valley. Grants Pass reaches 95, Medford heats up to near 98, Ashland tops out at 93, and Klamath Falls finishes near at 89. Across Northern California, sunny and hot with Wairika near 95. Redding climbs to 102 and Chico reaches the mid-90s, while Fort Bragg starts with patchy fog, then clears to mostly sunny near 59. In the Bay Area, early fog, then gradually clearing to sunshine for Santa Rosa and Napa with highs near 81. San Francisco sees decreasing clouds near 68, while San Jose becomes sunny with temperatures in the mid-80s. For Central California, sunny with highs near 91 in Sacramento, mid-90s in Stockton and Modesto, upper 90s from Fresno and Visalia down to Bakersfield, with lows tonight settling into the upper 50s and 60s. And that's a look at your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
Well, let's go back a few years to 1847. Wow. I'm trying to think. That year does not signify anything, it's not like
did the Mustang
76.
Is that when the Mustang came out?
I don't know. It's been around a long time. That would be pretty far. No. Apparently, and this is a bit of history that I am learning just as we all are, a 16-year-old sailor from Maine could have changed breakfast forever with his invention of a hole.
According to popular legend, Hanson Gregory was working aboard a trading schooner when he grew frustrated with the fried dough cakes that were often raw in the middle. His solution? Punch a hole through the center. The simple change allowed the dough to cook more evenly and created what many consider the first ring-shaped donut. Gregory later claimed he used the lid of a tin pepper box to cut the hole, though other stories say the idea came to him while steering a ship through rough seas eating a dough cake, which he skewered on the ship's steering wheel to free his hands. Whatever the true story, the ring donut quickly caught on and became an American favorite. Gregory has even been recognized for one of the most unusual inventions of all time, a hole, when in 1948, the National Bakers Association officially recognized him as the inventor of the donut hole.
I guess that makes sense. If the center never gets cooked fully, just get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Eat the rest of it.
So then they took those and deep fried them and sold those.
And turned them, it's efficiency.
So how do you eat a hole?
The donut hole itself, the box of them, those little ones.
Yeah, a little catch on there. All right, well, that's pretty good.
How about that?
All right, a few moments ago, we heard the vice president basically in a kind of a stern response to Israel, saying, hey, look, we are your best allies. We give you all these things, everything else. Well, apparently that didn't go over well with some people. Even former White House people are saying that Vice President J.D. Vance unleashed on Israel over the opposition of U.S.-Iran peace deal is not a good deal. And here's how they reported it on Sky News.
Some of these cabinet members in Israel who are attacking the President of the United States, the other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. The problem for Israel is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the President of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in.
I think he's speaking his mind. And I think that's one of the things here that Iran has done masterfully. That's one of the things that they have done successfully. They have driven a wedge between the Americans and the Israelis. I never thought I would say that or see that in my adult lifetime, but that's one of the things they have done in this particular engagement. Certainly the Israelis have done things that on the surface don't look like they're aimed towards peace. I get that, but again, I'm not Israeli. I don't live with the risk of people bombing me from, say, Maryland every single night, and that's a different sort of world perspective. I get that, but we went into this war as the very best of closest of allies, and now you've got the vice president saying that. That can only be perceived as a win for Iran.
A lot of people are seeing it that way. So we'll have to wait and see how this works out, but tense moments, to say the least. All right, 12 minutes before the hour, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Fire in my soul, fan the flame.
Jerry's Historical Archives. U.S. History. Great moments in time. Record breakers. Our music through the years. Relive the past and learn something new. Open up Jerry's Historical Archives. Weekdays only on Mornings on the Dove.
Men of Southern Oregon, please join us for our next Game Changers, June 27th, with Eddie Penny. He's the author of Unafraid. He was on SEAL Team 6. He's got a thriving ministry and podcast. Can't wait for you guys to hear his story. He'll be in Grants Pass, June 27th, 6 p.m. That's the time of our event. The meal will be at 5 p.m. Please join us June 27th with Eddie Penny at the next Game Changers. Register online at gamechangersnorthwest.org. See you then.
All right, welcome back. 10 minutes before the top of the hour. Steve Johnson and yours truly. The other day I had retired Colonel Rob Manus on, Air Force Colonel, highly decorated, highly involved in a lot of things. And I asked him his perspective on the Iran deal. And here's what he had to say.
Well, it's not a deal yet. That's the first thing people need to understand.
Yeah.
It is. This is a memorandum of understanding that lays the groundwork for the beginning of 60 days worth of talks. It's got some good things in it. The number one thing in it is the Iranians have had to sign up to the fact that they will not procure or develop a nuclear weapon, and the technical pieces of getting the enriched uranium out of their control that they've spent many, many years and hundreds of millions of dollars creating as part of these discussions over the next 60 days. The other thing that's really good about this MOU is that the Iranians get nothing if they don't perform to what they have signed up to in the memorandum. And that is completely different than the JCPOA, which was the agreement that Barack Obama signed with them that resulted in him handing over $300 billion US dollars for free, essentially, while they could still enrich uranium. And none of those things are true with this MOU. So just from that perspective alone, I think that we have a good start on this.
All right, so the MOU is to create a 60-day ceasefire within which they could put together a hard deal, okay? So I think we kind of don't see that or understand that. But 60 days also means ceasefire. So what happens if somebody violates the ceasefire within 60 days and you're in the middle of negotiations? I mean, it's kind of complicated.
And we have seen that happen for sure. I mean, supposedly they're under a timeout and someone lobs a bomb.
Yeah.
That's happened.
So here was something else that came up over the weekend, and this is just a thought, so you can think about it. Just
okay.
Okay. Do you remember Chernobyl?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, I saw. Yes. Right. I mean, that was all right there with 3 Mile Island. You think of all of these nuclear problems that we had for a period of time. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the thoughts was, you're not going to. It's going to. Where is the nuclear dust, so to speak? Where is it in? And they kind of know where it is, but they don't know how deep it is and what conditions it is and all this and that. What if you went into those areas where you believe it is and you can prove that it's in there, and you create a Chernobyl? In other words, you activate it enough where you can't even be within 50 miles of it for the next 25 years. And that is a theory being floated around out there. Instead of trying to get it out, which is going to be a problem, could you could you throw something else in there, and I'm being pretty simplistic about this, can you throw something else in there that would activate some kind of a nuclear problem that you can't even be around there for the next 20, and that's what happened at Chernobyl and some of these other places. Once it got activated, you had to stay away from it for a long time.
You know, I haven't heard that angle of it. I mean, I don't doubt that that's being discussed now, but that whole thing of nuclear dust has been one of those weird aspects of it. And they say it may be so far down that you'll never be able to get it. Well, okay, so do you seal it over with cement and prevent people from getting down there, including the Iranians? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. All right, Robert Spencer will be with us coming up a little bit, and he will help us unwind some of this stuff. So we'll take a look at it then. All right, you go to your job. You think you have, well, here it is, a Monday. People going to your job, it's just a normal thing. You head out, you're going to do what you normally do, and then things change in a surprising way. That's what happened to some Milwaukee trash picker-uppers, so to speak, some maintenance people. They had a rescue that nobody saw coming.
Sanitation worker Naz Knowles and his partner were emptying garbage bins when one unexpectedly slipped off the truck. When they looked inside, they made a shocking discovery: a starving dog buried beneath a pile of trash. The crew quickly called Supervisor Alex Halverson, who rushed to help. The friendly but hungry dog immediately won him over. In fact, Halverson fed the pup the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches he'd packed for lunch. The dog was taken to an animal shelter, received medical care, and was placed in foster care. But the story didn't end there. When Halverson was given the chance to adopt him, he didn't hesitate. He welcomed the dog into his family and named him PJ after those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. A dog that was moments from tragedy found a second chance and a loving home with the very man who helped save his life.
It's a great thing that trash can opened up and there he was.
Wow.
Rescue animals are so amazing. I think people should consider that when you're thinking of getting an animal. See what they have at the pound in the rescue area.
There you go. There you go. AKC neighborhood, I call those.
Yeah.
All right. Excuse me. Take with you a powerful scripture today, taken from the Gospel of Matthew chapter 5, verse 16. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Bottom line is, let your light shine today, okay? Go out and buy a bunch of chocolate cream puffs and give them away.
Good idea.
We'll be right back.
And I will ever praise you, and I will seek you in the morning, and I will learn to walk in your ways, and step by step you'll lead me, and I will...
Season is Shine, a new inspiring program for women. Through meaningful and relatable conversations, we'll help you discover God's purpose in every season, empowering you to shine. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 4 p.m. on the Dove TV.
At Kelly's Automotive Service, we understand that the automotive industry has a certain reputation, and we try every day to prove that we're different. We believe working from our purpose, which is to bless our staff, clients, and community, is a good start. While getting your car serviced or repaired isn't something that you look forward to, we hope that you leave us feeling heard and taken care of. Kelly's Automotive Service in Grants Pass and Medford, where we service your vehicle, but take care of you. KellysAutomotive.com.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare. Your loved one can spend the day with us. and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
The Dove TV wishes you a happy 4th of July as America celebrates 250 years. Good morning. You're tuned to the Dove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you and welcome to Mornings on the Dove. Perry, along with our chief correspondent in the Southern Command, Mr. Steve Johnson, is with us this morning.
The Southern Command, wow.
Yeah, so
that sounds very important.
Well, it should, yeah. We have a big headquarters down there. It's called Steve's Living Room. Anyway.
Here you are.
Good morning to you. A lot going on in the news. There always is. It looks like the UK is looking for a new leader as their prime minister resigned this morning. We'll have more on that coming up, but that a little on the controversial side. The weather is going to be a warm to hot category here in the Pacific Northwest. That's a normal temperature day for you down there.
I noticed, I told you I would check the weather forecast. 104, 105 all this week.
Oh, well.
So it's just a few degrees warmer.
And, of course, the slogan for that heat down there is?
It's a dry heat. But, you know, I've talked to some people in Florida recently, and they said, you know, it does make a difference because they have very wet heat. And they said this is a whole lot better. So it's a joke, but it's also true.
It's true. I have experienced both, and I will say this. Yours is by far more enduring, by far.
Enduring. There's a good way of putting it. As long as you have plenty of water.
A lot
it's
of
enduring.
Water. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning to you. Anything special today?
Yeah. Well, let's see. Yesterday was Father's Day.
Yeah.
I hope that people greeted you. Did they kiss you? Maybe some did. Maybe only the ones you wanted to. Today is National Kissing Day, though. I don't know why we have to have one of those, but okay, that's all right. And you may want to do it before or well after you have some onion rings. It's National Onion Ring Day.
All right.
And I got to tell you, I like them better than French fries.
Yes, I do too.
Especially if you get the right dipping sauce.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff, Chick-fil-A, you were saying, yes.
The Chick-fil-A sauce is good, yeah.
Barbecue sauce, if you've got it, that's for sure. That's a good thing. It's also, speaking of food, National Eclair Day. I do declare I'd like an eclair.
Yeah. You got to get
those are always good.
Yeah, and you have to have them with the custard in it. I mean, I like them with the whipped cream, but custard's always better.
Yeah. I would agree with you. I think that's true. And you might want to get a few eclairs and watch an old movie. 1955 is when Lady and the Tramp first came out in animation. You know, Walt Disney, you think of Snow White. That was one of the first ones. Fantasia is fantastic. You know, the special effects on that, and that's an old one too, but it's Lady and the Tramp that came out first in 1955.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And
right there with what Disneyland was being built and all the rest. I mean, there was a lot going on in Walt Disney's life at that point.
Did that give birth to the 101 Dalmatians?
You know, I don't know which one came first. I would think 55. How much earlier could it have been for 101? I think that had to come later. Yeah, and then it turned into a real movie, and Glenn Close played Cruella de Vil. She was very, very good in that.
Well,
it's amazing.
That's Disney at its best. What happened?
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. We won't think of that. We'll just think of the good Disney.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll have a chocolate eclair.
There you go.
Topped with a onion ring.
Okay, I don't know about that, but I like them both.
Okay.
Separately.
All right, let's check out the weather because it's beautiful.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny skies persist throughout the region with Vancouver and McMinnville reaching 92. Portland tops out near 93 and Wilsonville climbs to 96 with lows tonight around 60. Through the Willamette Valley, sunny and warm this afternoon with highs near 94 in Salem, low 90s in Albany and Corvallis, and near 90 in Eugene with overnight lows cooling into the upper 50s. Central Oregon stays sunny with highs near 89 in Prineville and Boise. Bed reaches the mid-80s and Sun River near 84 with a calm northeast wind. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog gives way to sunshine in Coos Bay with highs near 72. Port Orford stays sunny near 69, while Brookings and Crescent City sees sunny to mostly sunny skies in the low 60s. In southern Oregon, sunshine continues across the Rogue Valley. Grants Pass reaches 95, Medford heats up to near 98, Ashland tops out at 93, and Klamath Falls finishes near 89. Across Northern California, sunny and hot with Wairika near 95, Redding climbs to 102, and Chico reaches the mid-90s, while Fort Bragg starts with patchy fog and clears to mostly sunny near 59. In the Bay Area, early fog, then gradually clearing to sunshine for Santa Rosa and Napa with highs near 81. San Francisco sees decreasing clouds near 68, while San Jose becomes sunny with temperatures in the mid-80s. For Central California, sunny with highs near 91 in Sacramento, mid-90s in Stockton and Modesto, upper 90s from Fresno and Visalia down to Bakersfield, with lows tonight settling into the upper 50s and 60s. And that's a look at your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
And there's a look from the top of the, on the east side of the valley looking west there at Roxanne, where you have some radio towers up there. And as you can see, we are dry, very dry, so be careful out there.
Yeah, that is for sure. Well, you know, we just had a news conference earlier, a few hours ago, with the Vice President, who now has left Switzerland. But he was talking about the agreement that they have, and I think a lot of people are saying, okay, this is a temporary agreement for peace talks in the Middle East with Iran and with Israel and Hezbollah. I mean, it's pretty wide-ranging. But it's a 60-day kind of a work-through agreement. A lot can happen in the Middle East in 60 days. Now, he was very optimistic about what may happen there. We'll have to see if peace will hold out or not. But over the weekend, President Trump said no matter what the situation is, he is still going to hold firm on his plans for Iran.
I've made clear from the beginning of Operation Epic Fury that we will continue until our objectives are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions are ongoing. Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and much more reasonable. Yet if during this period of time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets. If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously.
Okay, well, I jumped the gun a little bit there. That's part of our headlines. But you know what? Let's keep things spiritual, because I know you want to talk about Keir Starmer. This is a question I think a lot of people have asked. We're kind of jumping around a little bit here, but David Jeremiah answers this question, and it might be one that we all have, because we talk about being spirit-filled as a Christian. I don't know. Maybe that has to do with international politics. Maybe we could use more spirit-filled Christians. I think so. How do you go about doing that? Here's some of his thoughts.
Sometimes, as I'm reading and studying the Bible, the Spirit of God will reveal something to me, some area of my life or ministry that isn't under his control, and he brings it to mind. He does. And I have to either yield that to him or I have to deny it and go on doing my own thing. We should never imagine that being filled is a once-for-all deal that you can nail down at some Bible camp and throw a chunk of wood on the bonfire and it's all settled. Being filled is a continuous thing. Every day you seek the Lord and you wake up in the morning and say, Spirit of God, control my life today. I want to be a spirit-led, spirit-filled person on this day. Now, what are the conditions for this gracious act? How do I become a spirit-filled Christian? First of all, you have to desire to be filled with the Spirit. If you have no desire for the Spirit of God to fill you and control you, guess what? It won't happen. John 7, Jesus says, if anyone thirsts, let him come to me and drink. And then he tells us later in the verse that that verse is about the Holy Spirit. In the Beatitudes in the New Testament, there's a verse that says, blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness. If you're a Christian, do you ever have this feeling that there should be something else going on in your life beside what's going on right now? You want something more, something different, something more aligned with what God's will is, and you know in your heart you're not walking the straight and narrow, you're living on the fringe areas. If that doesn't bother you, and if you don't have a desire for there to be something more in your life, you're never going to be filled with the Spirit of God, because he doesn't come where he's not wanted. He's not going to come into your life and take control unless you ask him to, unless you desire for that to happen.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Could use a few more spirit-filled Christians, I think, on the international scene.
Well,
including in England.
Yes, let's talk about that. Just a couple of hours ago, the Prime Minister of the UK resigned, and he resigns under labor revolt of his own party. His own party asked him to get out, and he had a lot of local election losses in the last go-round. He's very unpopular, and a lot of things have happened under his watch, and some say he was just flat way in over his head. But here he is standing out in front of 10 Downing Street, and here's what he had to say this morning.
The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question, and I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
Now, there is a protocol to this resignation. Apparently, he has to notify His Majesty the King long before that he announces it to the citizens. In between the time that he met with the King and this morning, the President announced it on X, and apparently people are not happy about that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because apparently the citizens of the UK the Brits learned more about it from the President of the United States than they did from Starmer himself. So,
well, that's interesting, because I know President Trump had been talking about how Starmer could be replaced.
Yes.
But of course, he didn't know at that time over the weekend, so he's been kind of expecting that. But wow, that's so protocol has been breached in England again.
Well, and I really don't know what they do between now, and I think their elections are in October, so I don't know what they do between now and October. Does he stay on? I mean, does he resign? But he resigned. He's not announcing he's not up for re-election. He's resigned, so he's out. And so I don't know how they run things if the Sergeant of Arms is kind of in control until such time they have an election, or they move the election up, which could be another thing that they do. But the scare is this morning in the UK is that the Labour Party is still pretty active. They could put forth somebody else. But they kind of have a bad image right now because they put forth him. And the last 5 people that they have put forth have been failures. And so it's not a good record. I don't know if this opens the door for Farage or not. We'll have to wait and see. So
I've always liked Nigel Farage and the things that he says. even when he wasn't that popular, he's an interesting character in British politics, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, he's a
he's a kind of a
I know. Is he
shooter? Yeah.
Is he Britain's Trump?
I kind of thought of him that way. I guess that's a good way of putting it. Some could make that.
Was
analogy.
Starmer Britain's Biden? I mean,
I'm not sure about that.
I don't know. Those are bad comparisons, but those are things you're reading about. All right. The other thing is we have a change in the UK. It looks like we're going to have a change in the UN. Secretary General is going. Well, there's going to be a new candidate now for Secretary General. Macky Sall from Senegal is apparently the guy that's up for the job. And he did say this: my first message to President Trump is first to congratulate him on his actions on peace, he said in a phone interview. And he went on to say that he's a peace builder. And if sometimes we have a problem today with Iran, he is the guy to fix it. So he seems to be pretty pro-Trump, which is a huge change from what has been the past.
Absolutely. Boy, if anything, and a lot of people have said this, the UN is really against the U.S. on so many fronts.
Oh.
Could this be a sea change?
Well, let's see what happens, because like the UN, it has to play down through the various committees. That's where a lot of the stuff goes on in some of those committees. So I don't know what value the UN has any day. I mean, right now the UN and NATO are both up for consideration. Are they benefiting us at all? Are they benefiting the world at all? So we'll have to wait and see. All right, the other story that's kind of popped up, everybody, is leaving California, all of these blue states, they leave here. The ones that leave Oregon usually go to Idaho. The ones that leave California either go to Nevada, they go down to Arizona, they go over to Texas, or they go all the way over to Florida. Those are the states. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? There's another red state popping up, and apparently quite wealthy. And even though Texas has the oil and the gas production, in the meantime, looks like North Dakota is popping up to be one of the great red states in America. Whoever thought of that?
That is amazing. Like I said, maybe it's time to buy real estate in that area there. I mean, there's a lot of it open space in North Dakota, that's for sure.
Well, they say it accounts for about 41% of the tax revenue on energy. So we'll see. Wow. They are a coastal state. Apparently, they are in the getting into the refinery business, and their tax structure there says, "Hey, we are a nice place to come live."
Yeah.
If you can stay away from the hurricanes. They do have hurricanes there. So anyways, those are some of the top stories. But in the meantime, soccer is continuing to be in the news these days.
Absolutely. Our next match is this Thursday at 7 o'clock our time. And I know a lot of people are looking at that saying, wow, the U.S. is really showing themselves to be among the elite in global soccer, or football as they call it. What is fascinating is this. Apparently, a lot of people were told by their governments, when you think of going to the games in the United States, you may want to hold back and not even travel there. Well, the situation now for a lot of people who have actually traveled is one of total surprise because of what they were told by politicians. And it's amazing how they are finding all sorts of fascinating things they never thought was possible in the United States that makes the United States what it is, even with all of the invasion, like the orange invasion of Houston with the Netherlands supporters. You think of all of these people going back to their home country saying, you know what, the United States is not at all as bad or terrible like we were told by our politicians. So I
don't normally go to fancy restaurants, but like.
All right, we lose the audio on that.
It's unbelievable. First of all, they give you these peanuts. You can eat as many as you want. She's like, yeah, just take a bag. Then they come out and they put this bread on the table, and I'm like, oh, I didn't order the bread. It's like, oh, that's free. And it's like, and she goes, and if you want more bread, we'll just give you more. And this bread is It's as nice as bread can possibly be. Like, if you're an Australian, try and picture the most unbelievable bread, like Subway bread. Got this fancy butter. Then they give you the Coke. Of course, it's America, so it's unlimited refill. And then it was all like ribs and steak and chips. There was an onion that had been deep fried and you dip it in the sauce. You just leave there so happy. And then Australians are all like, yeah, but in America you've got to tip. No, you don't have to tip. You want to tip. These people are the most wonderful people in the world. I don't even know why you Americans are so angry all the time. You guys have Texas Roadhouse in your country. You should just be walking around wanting to hug everybody.
We owe America a huge apology because America is nothing like what the media tells us. Everyone is so friendly, everyone is so accommodating, and I've honestly had the best time. I fly home Sunday and the English have a song where we say, please don't take me home, I just don't want to go to work. Let me stay here and drink all your beer. And I've never resonated with that song more than in America for this World Cup. I wish I could stay and finish the tournament watching England. So if anyone is out there that can help me make this happen, then please let me know. I want nothing more than to stay in the USA, finish the World Cup, and meet more fantastic Americans.
Come on over here.
These are the ambassadors going back home now to tell others what they thought of the United States.
Come on over and have some Texas barbecue.
That's right. They like all sorts of things. In fact, one of the videos I saw, there were multiple people who were saying, you know, I'm looking at the neighborhoods. It looks like a Hollywood set. I thought it was all fake. And look, there's yellow school buses. They really are what we see in the movies.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get excited about yellow school buses, either you're Kamala Harris or you're somebody coming from another country and you're totally surprised at what you're looking at. They are not Kamala Harris, I can tell you that.
So, are these people getting word salad for news? Is that what they're getting?
I don't know what the media has been telling them about how terrible. They probably take a shooting in Chicago and say all of the United States is like this.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of.
Of
you
course.
know? And so they say, so stay away. Well, these people are coming, experiencing it, and then saying, I'm going to go back home and tell everybody how great it was. So we may be seeing a global change in the perception of the United States because of the soccer games.
Well, we got, they're going to work their way to the West Coast for a game, so we'll talk about that. And there is a place that these foreigners could come to that may just make them want to stay. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Your sweet tooth just became a force for good. The Salvation Army's Taste Good, Do Good Challenge is on June 5th through the 30th. And local bakeries, restaurants, and shops are serving up exclusive treats you can only get during the challenge. Hit different spots, collect punches, and vote for the best bite in town. And every delicious stop helps support local kids and veterans right here in our community. Start your adventure at tastegooddogood.net.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. This little light of
Happy Monday. Welcome back. Steve and Perry here with you this morning. A little bit of a place. When the big World Cup gets to the West Coast, they may want to visit Crater Lake, one of the great jewels of the Pacific Northwest. And reason I bring that up, if you've never been there, you need to go. If you've been there, you know how beautiful and special it is. And a little bit of a reminder that the trolley tours are now returning for the summer. It's a 2-hour guided tour that features an interpretive guide that does the rim and takes you around the entire rim of the Crater Lake and explains all the various things to you. So that is now beginning there, what they call the Rim Village, at the Rim Village. And you can get a ticket there and hop on the trolley and go all the way around the rim. And that is a nice way to see it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. They also have Ride the Rim, where you can bike it once a year. They use this Ride the Rim thing, electric bikes being what they are. But this is a great way to learn the history about what's going on up there. So if you're visiting or you haven't been up there in quite a while, it's literally breathtaking to go to Crater Lake. It's just one of those special, special places. And Steve, I know you were missed walking on the grass this weekend over at the park because it was the 41st annual Medford Cruise over the weekend. And there's just some of the cars that were displayed. 57 T-Bird, you got the Galaxies, all kinds of cars, old, new, foreign, in between, Corvettes. There you go. That Corvette, I didn't like that year.
Because of the rubber bumpers, right?
Well, it didn't look like a vet. It looked like something from Mars. I don't know. But anyway, very successful, always is. What's so interesting about this, these cars show up like 2 or 3 days before, and they start driving the streets of Southern Oregon, and you see them all over the place. A lot are local, some from out of town, but it is an annual event that's been very, very successful. So hats off to those who put this together. The big display of the various cars in the park, and then the big cruise around Medford just goes on forever. And go downtown and see the cruise. So pretty cool. That was a big thing over the weekend. All right, let's take a look at Wall Street and see how the numbers are faring on this Monday morning. Thank you, Preston at Smart Lawn. He's the guy, and he'll help you save a lot of water. The Dow's pretty happy this morning, up 149, almost 150, 249, almost up 250 points. Wow, at 51,815. The Nas has jumped up 12 points, and the S&P up 24. So good numbers starting the day and hopefully the week. We'll see how that holds. In the meantime, gold is off still a little bit, 42.18. Silver is kind of mixed, $66.50 an ounce, and crude oil's back down to $77.80. I call it $78 a barrel, kind of where it's been most of the week. So those are the ringing of the bell numbers on this Monday morning.
Well, Al Gore is a guy who, I can't say he's been in the news a whole lot lately, but he's still holding firm to his whole global warming concept. And of course, he put out the movie called An Inconvenient Truth that got a lot of criticism, actually. And what's interesting is his mantra is still ongoing. But Steve Malloy is a former Trump transition team member, and he talked about the whole predictions that Al had on the Fox Business program called The Bottom Line. We first start off with some of the comments that Al Gore has made about global warming.
It has been getting warmer over the last 40 years, but that is a process that has been naturally driven by the El Nino, La Nina cycle. And we are in an El Nino cycle right now, and we may very well see in 2027 some more global warming. But it's because of the natural cause El Nino. It's not because of emissions. The truth is that no one on this planet can show that emissions, I'm not talking about just green, carbon dioxide generally, but no one can show that emissions of carbon dioxide are having any effect on anything except maybe greening the planet. And a lot of this was driven by big business that got on board the climate wagon, especially big tech. And of course, big tech needs big data centers right now, and they need electricity to power those data centers, and they're not going to get it from wind and solar and batteries and all that nonsense, which has just done nothing but wreck our grid and raise electricity prices. So big tech is now subtly, behind President Trump's fossil fuel agenda. I mean, they may not come out and say, oh, we were wrong, but they're definitely for gas plants, coal plants, even nuclear plants now.
On one of the networks, Al Gore was still saying how there's like nuclear bombs. It's equal to that going off above us, causing all sorts of greening problems. So this guy was talking about in response to that.
Well, I think he gets an Academy Award for selling fear.
Well, he's done that. That's true.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because I can tell you that we have done a remarkable job in cleaning up places and recycling and air. I remember when I was a young pilot flying over the LA basin on a sunny day, I'd have to file an IFR flight plan because of the smog to get to the airport down there. And now, you can fly over it and it's clear. It's really nice. It's clear. But they never zero in on Beijing. They never zero in on Jakarta. They never zero in on these other countries that are just massive pollutants. They just want to tax us to death. We've done very, very well. I would say with recycling the way we do it, now there's some issues with that, but recycling is one thing, our cleaner fuels, but overall, what we have done to clean up the air is pretty remarkable. But I don't know what he's selling right now because obviously he never learned how we all need CO2.
It's a balance. You don't get rid of everything that you think is a bad thing.
Yeah.
But there's some good sides to all of this.
And remember,
every time we exhale, it's CO2 that comes out.
Yeah. And remember cows. Cows are polluters now.
Cows.
Remember
how they wanted to tax cows? I think it was in Great Britain because of their, let's call it fumage.
Yes.
Cows do what they have to do.
Yeah. So now cows are the great polluters. I tell you, unbelievable.
They've done it ever since time was, yes.
Well, listen.
They came out of the ark and they were doing that.
There's a big difference between radical environmentalism and genuine conservation.
Yes.
Big difference between the two. All right, we'll take a, let's see, what do we call it? Not a cream puff. What is it? Eclair.
It's Eclair break. Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Your yard is where life happens, but it can be muddy and hard to maintain. Enjoy a maintenance-free artificial turf lawn all year round with Smart Lawn LLC. No mowing, no fertilizing, no watering. Our synthetic grass is beautiful and resilient. It's certified to be lead-free and there's no need for pesticides. Safe for your children and pets. Smart Lawn LLC has all your artificial turf and putting green areas covered beautifully. 541-941-3538.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
All right, 27 minutes before the hour. Stephen Perry with you here on this beautiful Monday morning and heading into some hot temperatures in the Pacific Northwest and normally hot down there in Tucson. Hey, by the way, Steve, any update on the Guthrie story down there?
Nancy Guthrie, well, it's been over 4 months, almost 5 months since she's been missing. And there's still, the FBI now is in charge of it, and they're saying that there could have been, and I think a lot of people would agree, some mistakes at the very beginning of the investigation. How that will affect the end result of this has yet to be seen. But there have been all sorts of rumors, for example, that Mexico knew of some sort of a tie-in with Nancy Guthrie and had informed the sheriff's department about that. That has been apparently debunked at this point. Still a big mystery about who was involved, who wasn't. And I think some people are saying, were there some people that were questioned and dismissed as not being involved that perhaps should have had a closer look at by the policing agencies? We'll have to see. It'll be fascinating to see. You know, the FBI normally doesn't show their hand when they're doing an investigation. You'll just all of a sudden hear about some sort of results. So I think a lot of people are hoping that's what will end up happening. But it's been almost 5 months, and we still don't have information about Nancy Guthrie's disappearance.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch back over to our good friend Chris Mitchell at CBN News and get the latest between Israel, Iran, and the United States.
Vice President J.D. Vance said Sunday there's an opportunity to turn over a new leaf between Iran and the U.S.
Never before has the Iranian and American leadership met at such a high level. What the president has asked us to do is turn over a new leaf, to transform our relationship with the people of Iran and to extend an outstretched hand.
One condition is for Iran to give up its nuclear ambitions. Yet Iran's president says that's non-negotiable.
We will not submit to force, oppression, or humiliation. We will not give up the right to enrichment either, and they have to accept that.
Senator Lindsey Graham told CBS News President Trump believes the deal will fail, and the president is ready for the next steps.
I spent 4.5 hours with President Trump Friday. Here's what I think will happen next. If this deal fails, President Trump is going to take the Strait of Hormuz over by force. The United States will control the Strait of Hormuz. We'll charge a fee for all those who go through to pay for the operation. And we're going to expand the Abraham Accords in calendar year 2026. And if Iran contests control of the Strait of Hormuz by the United States, we will obliterate them.
As Vance talked about a new start with Iran, President Trump threatened to renew military strikes over its support for Hezbollah. On Truth Social, he posted, Iran must immediately stop their highly paid proxies in Lebanon from causing trouble. If they don't, we'll hit Iran very hard again, just like we did last week, only harder. Iran wants to tie the talks to Israel's pullout from South Lebanon. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made 2 pledges to an audience at the JNS International Policy Summit in Jerusalem Sunday night about a nuclear Iran and Lebanon.
No matter what happens in the talks, with an agreement, without an agreement, I pledge to you that Iran, as long as I'm Prime Minister, will never have a nuclear weapon. Never. As long as we need to protect our people, we will remain in the security zone in South Lebanon.
Netanyahu also said he believes the conditions have been created for regime change.
That is what will be the real triumph, when the Iranian people take their own destiny in their hands and they knock out this brutal regime that is terrorizing them and terrorizing the rest of the world.
Often ignored in the negotiations is the plight of the people of Iran. Miriam Wahba from the Foundation for Defense of Democracies tells CBN News the regime is targeting underground church leaders.
The regime is looking for a scapegoat here. They're looking for somebody to label as traitors, as enemies of the state, and as they really call it, enemies of God. And the Persian-speaking convert community Christians of Iran ends up being that scapegoat and ends up being prosecuted as what they call Zionist traitors.
She warns the MOU frees the regime.
What worries me most is that this gives the regime ability to continue its crackdown on the Iranian people and Christian communities vis-a-vis the Iranian people.
All right, Chris is joining us now with more. So, Chris, what more can you tell us about what's happening with the church in Iran?
Well, Ephraim, we understand pastors are traveling throughout Iran to encourage many of the believers, many of them isolated, trying to strengthen their faith and provide fellowship during a crisis, a very, very difficult time inside Iran right now. We understand Christian ministries continue to reach out to Iranians through television, radio, social media, and other platforms, especially now, Ephraim, when the internet access has been restricted. And then we keep hearing more reports of Muslims coming to faith through dreams, visions, and encounters with face-to-face with Jesus many times. We've reported on this many, many years, Ephraim, a phenomenon many ministry leaders say is continuing across Iran. We also understand many Iranians are disillusioned with Islam. Many mosques, maybe majority of the mosques, are empty, and Iranian believers are asking Christians around the world to pray for courage, strength, and peace for the believers as they face persecution during this war, isolation, and internet blackouts.
Chris, we heard Prime Minister Netanyahu say the conditions have been created for regime change in Iran, but the Iranian people have not risen up against the regime during this war. Does he believe they will stand up against the regime now?
Well, last night I was at that talk when he made that presentation to the JNS International Policy Summit. He didn't talk about a timetable, but he did believe that the conditions are in place right now to bring about regime change. Massive damage has been done to the regime during the last war in 2025, that 12-day war, and the war this year. The infrastructure, the economy's been decimated, the military's been hit. Many people believe the regime is weakest in its 47-year-old history. Widespread dissatisfaction with the regime. And we understand, although we don't know a lot of details, that things are being done covertly, trying to raise the level of opposition. But the question is also Ephraim, is the opposition organized? And can they rally around one figure that many people have been talking about since the beginning of the protest, Reza Pahlavi, who is the late crown prince, the crown prince in exile right now. So it remains to be seen, but he believes the conditions are set for a regime change sometime in the future.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope that results in that. But there's even concerns as to whether or not the Shah is the guy to do it. Has he been?
It's amazing that he's even being considered.
Has he been westernized enough to do it? He's been living here all this time, so we'll see. I don't know. Pretty interesting. All right, let's check out the weather. That's interesting. Always is.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny skies persist throughout the region, with Vancouver and McMinnville reaching 92. Portland tops out near 93, and Wilsonville climbs to 96 with lows tonight around 60. Through the Willamette Valley, sunny and warm this afternoon with highs near 94 in Salem, low 90s in Albany and Corvallis, and near 90 in Eugene, with overnight lows cooling into the upper 50s. Central Oregon stays sunny with highs near 89 in Prineville and Boise. Bed reaches the mid-80s, and Sun River near 84 with a calm northeast wind. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog gives way to sunshine in Coos Bay with highs near 72. Port Orford stays sunny near 69, while Brookings and Crescent City sees sunny to mostly sunny skies in the low 60s. In southern Oregon, sunshine continues across the Rogue Valley. Grants Pass reaches 95, Medford heats up to near 98, Ashland tops out at 93, and Klamath Falls finishes near 89. Across Northern California, sunny and hot with Wairika near 95. Redding climbs to 102 and Chico reaches the mid-90s, while Fort Bragg starts with patchy fog and clears to mostly sunny near 59. In the Bay Area, early fog then gradually clearing to sunshine for Santa Rosa and Napa with highs near 81. San Francisco sees decreasing clouds near 68, while San Jose becomes sunny with temperatures in the mid-80s. For Central California, sunny with highs near 91 in Sacramento, mid-90s in Stockton and Modesto, upper 90s from Fresno and Visalia down to Bakersfield, with lows tonight settling into the upper 50s and 60s. And that's a look at your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
Well, let's go back into history a little bit. Jerry tells us about a significant date in 1847 that could be affecting how you are eating breakfast today.
According to popular legend, Hanson Gregory was working aboard a trading schooner when he grew frustrated with the fried dough cakes that were often raw in the middle. His solution? Punch a hole through the center. The simple change allowed the dough to cook more evenly and created what many consider the first ring-shaped donut. Gregory later claimed he used the lid of a tin pepper box to cut the hole, though other stories say the idea came to him while steering a ship through rough seas eating a dough cake, which he skewered on the ship's steering wheel to free his hands. Whatever the true story, the ring donut quickly caught on and became an American favorite. Gregory has even been recognized for one of the most unusual inventions of all time, a hole, when in 1948, the National Bakers Association officially recognized him as the inventor of the donut hole.
Amazing.
Well, there you go. Hey, just in answering one of our earlier questions, it looks like Prime Minister Starmer says that he has resigned but will not go until a couple of months down the road, which ends up being a pattern of previous prime ministers that resign. They end up not leaving office, and apparently he will stretch this out up until the fall when things will resume. This is past what they call their summer recess until they're able to do elections coming up this fall. So they say what happens if they resign, he's no longer involved in all the bickering. He can work on 2.5 months of legacy building, and then he leaves.
Oh, okay.
You got to believe that the Brits get a little tired of that one.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. The other thing is that Vice President Vance getting a little pushback about how he is talking about Israel not being very nice to the United States, considering everything. And this comes from a former White House chief of staff, and here's what he had to say.
Some of these cabinet members in Israel who are attacking the President of the United States, the other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. The problem for Israel is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the President of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in.
I think he's speaking his mind, and I think that's one of the things here that Iran has done masterfully. That's one of the things that they have done successfully. They have driven a wedge between the Americans and the Israelis. I never thought I would say that or see that in my adult lifetime, but that's one of the things they have done in this particular engagement. Certainly, the Israelis have done things that, on the surface, don't look like they're aimed towards peace. I get that, but again, I'm not Israeli. I don't live with the risk of people bombing me from, say, Maryland every single night, and that's a different sort of world perspective. I get that. But we went into this war as the very best and closest of allies, and now you've got the vice president saying that. That can only be perceived as a win for Iran.
Well, this is problematic all the way around. So I'm sure everybody has their opinions on this one, but this is, you kind of wonder why this isn't handled more diplomatically. Why do you have to go public with this?
Yeah, I think it's that balance. What do you not tell the public and what do you? I mean, it looks as if people have a very short-term memory of conflicts.
Yeah.
You think of World War I, which went on for years, and we're talking about a couple months, and that's already getting a little bit long in the tooth. So it's a difficult thing, I think.
Is the straits open or closed? We'll talk about that when we come back. We'll be right back.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
He's got the whole world in his hands, and he knows the plans for us. It's in his hands. It's in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Come on, Steve.
Men of Southern Oregon, please join us for our next Game Changers, June 27th, with Eddie Penny. He's the author of Unafraid. He was on SEAL Team 6. He's got a thriving ministry and podcast. Can't wait for you guys to hear his story. He'll be in Grants Pass, June 27th, 6 p.m. That's the time of our event. The meal will be at 5 p.m. Please join us June 27th with Eddie Penny at the next Game Changers. Register online at GameChangersNorthwest.org. See you then.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
All right, welcome back. 10 minutes before the hour. The other day I had retired Colonel Robert Manus on with us. He's a retired Air Force colonel, highly decorated, and we were chit-chatting about all the things going on. And as you probably saw earlier this morning, Steve, I guess ships are moving through the strait. Whatever happened to the mines?
That's what we've been told. Yeah, well,
whatever happened
I think
to
they
the
probably got rid of a lot of those, but they said there's still some to be concerned with.
Are
probably still sweeping it.
Were they ever there? Anyway,
I think they did a good job of making sure they didn't hit a ship, so it kind of gives you an idea. Were they there or weren't they? If they got rid of them, you're not going to see the explosion. So
yeah.
I'll assume they were there.
I don't know. Here's what he had to say.
I'm still not convinced there are actually mines there. Nobody's been damaged by a sea mine in the Strait of Hormuz, but that's not the issue.
That's a good point.
The Iranians are able to pull that off, even if it's what we call an influence operation, because of the threat of that. So we'll see how it goes. So far, we've had that secondary route that's close to the UAE shoreline open, and they've been using that at night without lights, without radar for quite some time. And there haven't been any issues. So the Iranians may think they have that straight mine, but their capability is pretty weak right now. We have more firepower sitting in that part of the world than we've ever had sitting there since the first Gulf War, which was a sizable, larger presence than that. But this is the largest we've had this century. And I think that with the president's will, if he will do what he says he will do and use that firepower if it's necessary to do that without hesitation, our influence is quite high. From an economic and a diplomatic perspective, though, Perry, our influence is higher, I think, than it's ever been especially with the Gulf Cooperation Council, Arab states, and the Arab states throughout the region. You saw the president meet with President Sisi of Egypt for quite some time. The Turks have been involved in the background, from what I understand, in all of these discussions. And I think that comes down to one reason, and that's the Abraham Accords that the president initiated successfully in the first term. And he's talking about the Abraham Accords now and getting more on board. And that tends to get folks tied together in trade and economics. And it does things like minimizes and draws down the willingness or desire to attack other countries and disrupt that type of activity, because everybody wants to be prosperous in the end. It's human nature.
Okay. Saudi Arabia, I mean, they've tried hard to get Saudi Arabia to come in. They were right at the door, then they backed away. But they may be back at the door again only because Iran has been lobbing missiles to their neighbors.
Yeah.
So I don't know where this is all going to end up, but that's pretty serious stuff. Robert Spencer, he's actually the director of Jihad Watch, and The Tragedy of Islam is his latest book. This guy's pretty much in the know, and especially when it deals with terrorist cells inside the United States. But in particular, he's also a Middle East expert. We'll be talking to him about whether or not the deal will ever go through. Can they really be trusted? And then Michael Bustler will be by. Are we in inflation, deflation, flat inflation? What are we?
Yeah, it's a good question because we've heard how inflation could be coming back. I think getting a status report is going to be good.
Yeah. All right. So there we go.
Yeah. All right. You're heading off to work today.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a normal day.
No.
Be ready for surprises. There were in Milwaukee some trash collectors who came upon something they were never expecting.
Sanitation worker Naz Knowles and his partner were emptying garbage bins when one unexpectedly slipped off the truck. When they looked inside, they made a shocking discovery: a starving dog buried beneath a pile of trash. The crew quickly called Supervisor Alex Halverson, who rushed to help. The friendly but hungry dog immediately won him over. In fact, Halverson fed the pup the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches he'd packed for lunch. The dog was taken to an animal shelter, received medical care, and was placed in foster care. But the story didn't end there. When Halverson was given the chance to adopt him, he didn't hesitate. He welcomed the dog into his family and named him PJ after those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. A dog that was moments from tragedy found a second chance and a loving home with the very man who helped save his life.
Wow. What a
It is sad how animals like that just get discarded. I mean, it had to have been placed there underneath some trash. I'm glad to hear the good report of how this ended.
What a friendly little guy, you know. He looked...
Yeah, I can see why you wanted him.
There you go. Well, that turned out really, really, really well. So, and then, of course, the other thing, we touched on it briefly, it got about a minute here, but and that was President Obama's opening of his library. Kind of interesting there. The who's who was there. Not only entertaining, former presidents were there. I finally got to see some pictures on the inside. I guess inside is pretty nice. Outside, it kind of... Outside, you kind of...
Okay, I was going to ask you, what do you think of the outside?
Well, I'm disappointed. I mean, I think... Your home is a reflection of you, and apparently from what I read, he was heavily involved in designing this, and this is what he wanted.
Apparently, he is a person who wished he had been an architect. That's what I had heard.
Well,
and so he had a hand in it. But I have no idea what you would call that design. Some people have likened it to a trash can, and
it's
not been positive.
It's not very attractive. All right, Matthew chapter 5, verse 16. Let your light so shine today before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Let your light shine today.
Says do not be afraid, and the voice of truth says this is for
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express. Breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Breakfast served daily until 2 p.m. Breakfast burritos, biscuits and gravy, skillets, omelets, and more. Sweet Tea Express. Don't get caught hungry.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old-world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare. Your loved one can spend the day with us, and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
your sweet tooth just became a force for good. The Salvation Army's Taste Good, Do Good Challenge is on June 5th through the 30th, and local bakeries, restaurants, and shops are serving up exclusive treats you can only get during the challenge. Hit different spots, collect punches, and vote for the best bite in town. And every delicious stop helps support local kids and veterans right here in our community. Start your adventure at tastegooddogood.net.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. Oh, shine.
You're watching theDove TV, encouraging and informative for Yuba City and Northern California. Seen on KYUB 15, KKPM 28, and these Dove TV affiliates.
Well, welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. And, of course, there's a lot going on in the news. And, of course, the Middle East is pretty much dominating the news. Perfect timing, and always an honor when we have time to sit down with Robert Spencer. He's the director of Jihad Watch, and he's a Shulman Fellow there at the David Horowitz Freedom Center. Author of quite a few books, including the best-selling The Palestinian Delusion and the History of Jihad from Muhammad to ISIS to Anti-Semitism. And his latest book is entitled The Tragedy of Islam. And there's a picture of the cover of the book. This is just out. Check it out. The Tragedy of Islam. And his website is jihadwatch.org. Jihadwatch.org. Brother Robert, good to see you. How are you, friend?
Very, always good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Hey, by the way, let's see here. Where am I here? Where can they get the book?
It's at Amazon, it's at Barnes & Noble, it's wherever fine books are sold.
Okay, good stuff. Well, where do I start? They just can't bring this deal in for a landing. What's your take?
Well, the Iranians are very clever. They understand now that Trump wants a deal above all. And so they're pushing him to give them everything that they want. And one of the main things that they want is Israel to stop responding to jihad attacks from Lebanon. The very first point of the Memorandum of Understanding says that Israel will stop hostilities in Lebanon. But Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said, no way, we're going to keep on responding to defend ourselves as we see fit. And so the Iranians have made that a make or break thing for this deal. The Israelis have to stop or the whole deal's off.
Okay, so do you think I don't okay, let me back up a little bit. Vice President Vance was pretty stern to Israel publicly about this whole thing, and yet Israel is not named in the 14 points. They were left out of the negotiation. It seems that they have a better understanding of the 47-year pattern of Iran than we do. Where do you think this is heading, Robert?
Well, it kind of depends on what gives. You know, what you've got here is an immovable object against an irresistible force. The Iranians will keep on pushing because they regard negotiations just as a chance to get what they can't get in battle. They can't defeat the United States or Israel head-to-head, but they see that Trump very much wants a peace deal, and they're taking full advantage. They're not going to give an inch because he's already shown a willingness to give them what they want. They're going to keep pushing it. At the same time, Israel is not going to give an inch because Israel sees this quite rightly as a matter of life and death for them. They can't give in and say, okay, we won't fight Hezbollah because Hezbollah is trying to destroy them and is going to keep on trying to destroy them. So what are they supposed to do? Just sit back and die? Obviously, they can't give. Meanwhile, Trump wants a peace deal for a variety of reasons because he sees that the war was going to cost him politically, although some people are saying the peace deal is going to cost him even more politically, because a lot of people see it as a capitulation to the Islamic Republic and a reneging on his promise to come to the aid of the oppressed Iranian people. And so gas prices are high. He wants to bring gas prices low. He wants a peace deal above all, and he's shown his willingness to give the Iranians what they want in order to get it. So something's got to give here, but nobody wants to be the one. And I think it's likely to be Israel, because Israel is the weakest partner here, and Trump has already shown his belligerence. So I think that I very much hope I'm wrong here, and I certainly could be, but I think the most likely thing is that Trump will pressure Israel to stop fighting in Lebanon and make the alliance with the United States and Israel a make or break issue on that point.
Is there a wedge developing between Israel and the United States?
Very much so. And the Israelis were thrilled when Trump was reelected because Biden was so hostile to them. But Trump has turned out to be even worse. It seems as if he's fallen under the influence of Qatar and Saudi Arabia, and they have convinced him that Israel is the obstacle to peace in the Middle East. This is completely false if you look at the reality of the global jihad, which nobody really is willing to look at, and the Islamic theology that calls for warfare against unbelievers. It's very clear that that is really the reason why there is no peace in the Middle East. But Trump, not since 2016, 10 years ago now, hasn't shown any sign of being aware of the gravity and the magnitude of the global jihad or being disposed to counter it. Meanwhile, he's grown increasingly hostile to Netanyahu and to Israel in general. So I don't see a good outcome to this.
Where did he miss the importance of Israel? Where did he misunderstand? I guess we can't expect him to understand it biblically, but if you just look at it historically, what did he miss here?
Even if you take the biblical reality of the importance of Israel out of the equation, there's so much that he's missing. Because, for example, you've got the fact that the same ideology was underlying the people who hit us on 9/11 as is underlying Hamas and Hezbollah in Iran today. They are chanting death to America, not just death to Israel in Iran. They are targeting the United States as much as they are targeting Israel. Now, obviously, Israel is in much greater immediate danger from Iran, but if Israel were thrown to the wolves by the United States, and if it were destroyed, that would be a tremendous victory for the global jihad that has the United States in its sights as much as it has Israel. And it would be an encouragement to them like nothing else, and they would come at us like they've never come before.
Okay. Several Israeli military people were killed by Hezbollah a couple of days ago. And you would think that that alone would garner the support of the United States for Israel to defend itself. And supposedly his president's upset, but he's still putting pressure on Israel to back away from Lebanon. And of all things that were suggested, I just don't even begin to understand this one. What in the world is he thinking that somehow Syria could go in there and be some kind of a stabilizer?
Perry, it's as mystifying to me as it is to you. He has some inexplicable admiration for Ahmed al-Sharaa, the president of Syria. Now, Ahmed al-Sharaa is a jihadi. He was a leader of an al-Qaeda-linked group for many years, and he never showed any change. All he did was put on a suit and a tie. He's never said, "Oh, I'm so sorry for the ideology that I held before, and now I'm going to govern in a reasonable way." He's still a jihadi. There have been attacks on Christians, attacks on Druze, attacks on Alawites, and others, religious minorities in Syria, by people who are part of his regime. And it's very clear that if he goes into Lebanon, he's just going to wage jihad against the Lebanese. The Christians there who have been in battle, they have suffered so much, Perry. You know, the Christians were half of the population of Lebanon 50, 60 years ago. Now it's down to 35%. They've been killed, they've been forcibly converted, they have come to the United States and elsewhere. The Shiites have been taking over Lebanon. Ahmed al-Shiraz is Sunni, but he would work in concert with the Shiites against the Christians. And Trump seems to show no awareness of this at all.
The president's saying total annihilation of Iran. The vice president says, well, we should let them have some missiles to defend themselves. Boy, you talk about a mixed message. There it is.
Yeah. And the mixed message comes from Trump himself as well, because you don't even need to go to Vance. Trump himself was saying the other day, oh, yeah, let them have ballistic missiles. It wouldn't be fair not to let them have ballistic missiles because Saudi Arabia has them and the other states in the region have them. So why shouldn't the Iranians? Well, the Iranians shouldn't because they will shoot them at Israel. And Trump doesn't even seem to understand why Iran is so hostile to Israel. Israel didn't attack Iran. Israel didn't show gratuitous hostility toward Iran. They don't have competing interests. Iran hates Israel because of Islam. Islam teaches that any land that belongs to Islam at one time belongs to Islam forever. And the believers have a responsibility before Allah to fight to get it back. Israel was once part of the Ottoman Empire, and so the Muslims have to fight to get it back. It's a religious war, an Islamic war, that Trump should not be showing any sympathy for.
In the meantime, do you think the administration has forgotten how accurate the Israeli intelligence was at the beginning of this conflict in taking out their leaders? It was Israel's intelligence that gave us that victory. Do you think they forgot that?
Well, yeah, it seems so. Trump seems to be claiming that the United States did everything, that the United States took out Khamenei, that was Israeli intelligence, that was Israeli missiles, that the United States did this and that the Israelis actually did. It's all part of the same disquieting pattern. It's not the way you want to treat an ally. The United States and Israel are ostensibly allies. Why? You know, it never would have happened in World War II, Perry, that the United States would come in and say, oh, no, the British didn't do that. We did that. We respected what our allies did in World War II, and we never would have claimed credit for it on an illegitimate basis. And Trump to do that is just another sign of the growing hostility toward Israel in his administration.
I have to ask you this question because it's I'm sure it's on some people's mind. The answer to this would be for the peace talks to fail, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because, look, the Iranian people hate the Islamic regime. They want it gone. But they don't have any guns. They don't have any power. And the president now has repudiated what he said before, because he said at the beginning to the Iranian people, keep protesting, help is on the way. And now he says, oh, no, we don't want regime change. We're going to deal with the Islamic Republic. Well, that's a betrayal of the Iranian people who suffered a great deal under this regime. He should go back to his first stance, topple this regime. If he could get the people help, get them weapons, which I think is eminently possible, then they could work to overthrow this regime from within while he's pressuring it from without. Instead, he's giving them billions and billions of dollars. This is not American taxpayer money. Some people have been ill-informed about that. It's not that it's going to cost us, but that doesn't really make it any better, because these billions of dollars are going to go to that regime. They're just going to use that money to continue to oppress their own people and to wage jihad against America and Israel.
All right, let me take a quick break here because I have a big question. I want to give you time to answer it. Let me sure to our viewers and listeners, check out Robert's new book called The Tragedy of Islam. There's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen there, available wherever books are sold. The Tragedy of Islam. And check out his website, jihadwatch.org. Very, very resourceful. Go there, check it out, and support him. We'll be right back.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
What if the school you chose shaped who your child becomes forever? At Rogue Valley Adventist Academy, every lesson begins with purpose. We are a pre-K through 12th grade private school built on one mission: to educate, mold, and inspire service through a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, where students find their voice through music. Build tomorrow's solutions in our makerspace. Compete with heart and integrity on the court, and prepare for real life every single day. RVAA is a safe, student-centered community where every child is known by name, not just a number. From pre-K through 12th grade, your child will be challenged, supported, and loved. Enroll now. Openings are limited. Visit rvaa.us or call 541-773-2988. Rogue Valley Adventist Academy, located in Medford. Join in and stand out.
He's got the whole world in his hands, and he knows the plans for us. Above and beyond we could ask or imagine, his grace is more than enough. It's in his hands, it's in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Come on, Steve.
Welcome back. Always an honor to have with us Robert Spencer, director of Jihad Watch, and he's also Shillman Fellow there at the David Horowitz Freedom Center. Check out his latest book. It's now up and available, The Tragedy of Islam, and there's a picture of the cover of the book. You can get that wherever books are sold. His website is jihadwatch.org. So, Robert, we develop an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, 14 points, made it public. We all read it. Kind of interesting. Hopefully that was going to start a 60-day ceasefire within which a peace agreement would be negotiated. All of that seems to be very fragile at the moment. Even though there has been some signing, there hasn't been any codifying of all of this yet as far as the MOU is concerned. But in the meantime, the president removed the blockade there at the Straits. Was that a good move? Because he's given them money, but the deal isn't signed. Did they win that one?
Oh, yeah. They've won every one of these. As Trump himself said back in 2015, Iran is not good at fighting wars, but they win every negotiation. And they've won this one as well. It's a shame to say, but unfortunately, he keeps giving them. He's acting like Obama is in power. He's giving them concession after concession, and they've given nothing. They didn't even give promises that they wouldn't attack Israel, that they wouldn't attack the United States. They haven't given a single thing. And he even says, we're going to get the nuclear weapons. They're not going to ever get nuclear weapons. And they say, well, we're not giving up our nuclear material. And so he hasn't gotten a single thing from them at all. Nothing. He shouldn't be giving them anything in return.
I just find it interesting when you're making a deal that you actually prime the deal with this biggot's asset, and that's selling oil. I thought, why didn't you wait till the MOU was finalized? But I guess it was seen as good intentions, but and there's even problems there. So let's back up here. Let's go up to 60,000 feet. Do you have any idea what he's up to with this?
Oh, yeah. I think that he really wants to have a peace deal that he can trumpet and say he defeated Iran, he made peace, he is the great peacemaker who brought peace to the Middle East, and he ended 8 other wars, which is something that he often says, and he wants his Nobel Peace Prize. He wants the Republicans to win in November, and he thinks that this is going to help. I think from the looks of things that a lot of people who've supported him for many years, like me and many others, they're deeply disturbed by this, and it's not going to end up giving him any electoral advantage at all. Might be just the opposite.
Is he more motivated by the economics of business than he is the realities of the Middle East?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is the thing. We elected a businessman, and he's the guy who makes deals. He wrote the book, How to Make a Deal, The Art of a Deal. And so the idea that he is going to want to make a deal above all and not pay any attention to the ideologies of the people involved, well, that's entirely in character. I guess we should have seen it coming. I'm kind of surprised, though, that he has not been susceptible to anyone around him telling him, well, these people are not really people you should make a deal with. For one thing, they're not honest. For another thing, they hold to a fanatical ideology that they think comes from their God, and they're not going to compromise that away at the negotiating table. And so these are the last people you should be making a deal with. They're also deeply malevolent to our own country. And yet none of that, he seems to think that he can make a deal with anybody and everybody, and it doesn't matter what they're like. It's practically as if the United States in 1945, with Hitler on the ropes, were saying, okay, we're going to stop now and make a deal. We don't want Hitler in power, but any other Nazi is okay.
Wow. Do you think we missed seeing the crack when he was cozying up to Qatar?
Yeah. Well, I don't know that we all missed it. I was warning about it then. The fact is that Qatar is not an ally of the United States. They are not somebody that he should be dealing with there again. And here again, he just started to act like we're all pals with no concessions on their part. This is the same regime that on October 7th, 2023, the leaders of Hamas were in Doha celebrating, watching the massacres of Israeli civilians on some kind of closed-circuit television hookup. Maybe they had a hookup to the Hamas body cams. I don't know. But they were watching people getting murdered, and they got down on their knees and they thanked Allah for the murders of innocent Israelis. And they were there at the welcome of the Qatari government that is now Trump's great friend, with no change in their ideology. And what he doesn't seem to understand or care about is that if they hate Israel, they also hate the United States, and they want to destroy the United States as much as they want to destroy Israel.
Do you expect, you mentioned earlier that the pressure will be on Netanyahu. Do you think he stands down?
Yeah, I think he's going to lose the next election in Israel, which could come very soon, because he's been so closely associated with Trump. And that's been an advantage to him for all these years, because Trump has been a great friend of Israel. But now that Trump is unaccountably turned, Netanyahu's fortunes are tied to Trump. And so he's going to go down in flames as the Trump candidate who betrayed Israel, and somebody who is, we would hope, willing to stand firm in the face of pressure from the United States, from both the Republicans and the Democrats now, is going to come in. On the other hand, it could be a leftist who thinks, well, we'll just make a deal with everybody and that will bring peace. And of course it won't, because here again, the jihad ideology is based on the teachings of Islam. They're not going to negotiate it away. They're not going to give it up. And so if you have a leftist prime minister in Israel who's willing to give them this territory and that territory, it's just a prelude to the total destruction of Israel.
Seems to be obviously division within Republicans. There's now not with this deal. And maybe even inside his cabinet, we've heard some raw words being spoken to some of his cabinet members. This is not healthy, and especially when vulgarity is used, but let alone when he does it publicly. You kind of wonder, this is really serious problems here.
Yeah, we could all see that when Rubio was so upset when Trump was standing in between the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick on his right and Rubio on his left, and Lutnick and Trump are having a big time, and they're cracking jokes and having fun and bragging about the peace that they've brought between Iran and the United States. And Rubio just stood there stone-faced the whole time.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, this is a sign. He's not on board with this deal. And that's actually the great hope that we have now, that there is still a powerful enough and sizable enough wing within the Republican Party that sees the larger picture, that understands the importance of Israel from a biblical perspective as well as the geopolitical one, and sees the importance of fighting the global jihad. Maybe they'll win out in 28. We can hope and pray above all, because the situation looks pretty bad right now otherwise.
Well, he can't afford to fire a cabinet member. I mean, in the middle of this, that would really blow up on him. But in the meantime, you kind of wonder why the vice president went public with what he said. I mean, that to me was just bad PR all the way around.
Yes. Well, the vice president's been long rumored. He's in the hip pocket of Tucker Carlson, who's another one who actually unaccountably shifted. And there's been no explanation for this. But if you go back a few years, Tucker Carlson was saying Iran is a huge threat. We have to do something about Iran. Israel is our great ally. That's very important, the only democracy in the Middle East, and so on. Now he's completely flipped with no explanation. And J.D. Vance had employed his son in his office. They're very close friends, and it looks as if J.D. Vance is the exponent of the Tucker Carlson perspective within the Trump administration. And so it's not a good sign that he's also the point man for this agreement, because Carlson has downplayed the importance of the global jihad. He has actually praised Islam and talked about how he went to Saudi Arabia and he felt safe. Well, of course, they're not going to kill the most important political commentator on the right. They'd be idiots to do something like that. And they're not going to kill any visitor from the United States anyway. Nobody is in danger from going to an Islamic state. The point is that the Islamic states ultimately have this doctrine of jihad that does involve warfare against unbelievers. And that's not going to tell during a tourist visit by some individual to an Islamic state, especially one that's ostensibly an ally of the United States, but it is going to tell in the long run. And unfortunately, Tucker Carlson and J.D. Vance are working against the understanding of that now in the U.S. government.
Amazing. All right, so what do you want people to get from your book, and why did you choose that title?
This title is about how it's a shame that Islam has actually failed and let everybody down, and that's the tragedy. Islam is bad for individuals and bad for societies. And then when it fails, there's no shortage of non-Muslims in the West who make excuses for it and explain how it's really something else's fault. And so it's a tragedy all around for the non-Muslims and the Muslims. And this book shows why Islam is a failure. On a societal level, it does not bring peace or prosperity. On an individual level, a lot of converts become terrorists, and that's no accident. And this book explains it all and shows why the churches, above all, need to counter the threat from Islam, because they are making concerted efforts to convert Christians in the U.S. Churches are not making any response to that.
Very timely. It's you can get it online, and you may want to check it out. The Tragedy of Islam. There's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen. Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and of course Robert's website, jihadwatch.org. So, Robert, lean back and tell me from your heart, where are we? Where are we? Where are we spiritually?
Perry, I'm kind of sorry you asked me, because the only thing I can say is I think we're heading up to the situation that's described in Ezekiel 38, with all the nations of the world ganging up on Israel. This is, of course, one of the big triggers of the final days. I hope I'm wrong, but it seems to me that the abandonment by the United States, first by the Democrats and now by the Republicans, of the state of Israel on false pretenses both times, the inexplicable abandonment of an ally, it's a spiritual malady above all. It's a result of sin. It's a result of the cloudiness of the mind that results from sin, and we're in it now.
Yeah. Thank you, Robert. Thank you for being who you are and staying with your calling. Few people don't do that. And you need to be committed for it. Thank you, brother. Let's stay connected. Good to see you.
Thank you. Always good to see you, Perry.
Okay, bye-bye.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Lizer with Lizer Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
Men of Southern Oregon, please join us for our next Game Changers, June 27th, with Eddie Penny. He's the author of Unafraid. He was on SEAL Team 6. He's got a thriving ministry and podcast. Can't wait for you guys to hear his story. He'll be in Grants Pass, June 27th, 6 p.m. That's the time of our event. The meal will be at 5 p.m. Please join us June 27th with Eddie Penny at the next Game Changers. Register online at gamechangersnorthwest.org. See you then.
Okay, welcome back. And of course, one thing that's on everybody's mind these days is the economy, rightfully so. And is it improving? Is it kind of flatlined? Is it going up or down? Well, I'm always excited when we have time to sit down with Professor Michael Busler. He's a public policy expert. He's a professor of finance at Stockton University there in New Jersey. And guess what? He's now a Newsmax columnist. See what happens when you come on the Dove? You get famous. Professor, good to see you. How are you, friend?
I'm doing very well, Perry. It's always my pleasure to be here. And you're right. Since I'm doing this with you, my popularity has soared.
There you go. Well, just remember where you got your start. Good to see you. Thank you for your time. Value it greatly. Gosh, where do we start with all of this? Do you have, given the situation in the world today, how's that impacting our economy?
So let's look at the economy before this Iran conflict started. Let's look there. I was extremely optimistic about the economy going forward this year, mostly because of the legislation that was passed back in July, big, beautiful bill. Consumers got their tax cuts extended. Some got new tax cuts. People that work for tips, people on Social Security, people that work overtime saw their taxes cut. The most important thing in the bill, I believe, was that the bill allowed expensing of investments entirely in the year that they're made. So what does that mean? So if I bought a building, I spent $1 million for it. I'd like to recover my $1 million capital as soon as possible so I can reinvest it and do some other things. The IRS said, well, if you bought a building for $1 million, you've got to depreciate that over 25 years. So if you do a straight line, you're getting $40,000 back per year for 25 years, and that'll get the $1 million back. So it took 25 years. Now, this year, if you buy a building for $1 million, you can expense the whole $1 million in this year and essentially recover your capital this year, which will allow you to make more investments going forward. business investment in the first quarter of this year was up 10% as a result of that bill. And I think it's going to continue to go up more. They're building more factories. They're adding more jobs. The last 3-4 months, the job numbers have been exceptionally strong. Business doesn't hire new people unless they feel there's more business to be had in the future. Also, this was what we call supply side tax cuts. It favored somewhat business investment, as I said, and business expansion. That should help to keep the inflation rate down. So prior to the Iran issue, I would have expected the economy to grow probably close to 4%, at least by the end of the year, and the inflation rate probably down to 2% by the end of the year. And it would usher in what I referred to as a golden age, and this will continue for some years. So that was all before the Iran conflict. Now we have the Iran conflict. It cut off the supply of oil. And when you decrease the supply of anything, the price goes up. So oil prices shot up over $100. I think they peaked at about $120. Gasoline was up to $4.50, I think, a gallon nationwide. The economy does not do well when energy is expensive. And the reasons are because not only do consumers pay more for gasoline and in the winter heating oil and things, but business has to pay more for their energy to produce their products. The trucking companies pay more for transporting. So when energy prices are high, it tends to push all inflation up, and that's negative for the economy. On the other hand, when oil prices go down, energy's down, inflation goes down, that's good for the economy. So before the Iran conflict, things look great. Now that the price of oil has gone up, things are a little shakier. Consumer confidence is relatively low, although consumers' retail spending has increased tremendously in each of the last 3 months, but consumers say that their confidence is low. So wrapping all that up, your original question, what do I see with the economy going forward? Now that the Straits of Hormuz are opened, I think, and oil will go through there, that should bring the price of oil down. It had gone down to about $75 a barrel. I think it's up a little over 80 today because we're not sure what's happening. If they can get that resolved, and it's not going to be an easy thing to resolve, but if they can get it to resolve, get the oil flowing, get the oil prices back down under $70 a barrel, gasoline well under $3 a barrel, I think the economy is set to boom. So the variable is how long it's going to take to get this Iran conflict over with so it's not having any negative impacts on the economy.
All right, couple things here that you mentioned. Do you have any idea at the beginning of the big, beautiful bill, why wasn't there a consideration for the reduction of capital gains put in there?
Why was it not in there, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it should have been in there. I think politically, it's very difficult to get a reduction in the capital gains tax. Now, Trump was able to get through this expensing instead of depreciating over years, so that helps a little. I strongly favor reducing the capital gains tax. If it was up to me, I'd reduce that tax to 15%, no matter what the level of capital gain was. Right now it's 20%, and it can be up to 23.8%, depending on the size of your capital gains for the year. I would reduce it down to 15%. That, too, would create an investment boom. When President Clinton in 96 reduced the capital gains tax from 28 to 20%, the actual revenue from capital gains went up. Because although the rate was lower, there was so much more activity, you were taxing a higher base, you actually brought in more money. In addition to that, the inflation rate was low. Economic growth was almost 4% for nearly 4 years until 9/11 hit in 2001. And things were going very well. So I think that's evidence that if you lower the capital gains tax rate, really everybody benefits from this. Why don't they do it? Because the Democrats say it's just another tax cut for the billionaires, and we're not going to vote for it.
Okay, that old argument. I want to come back to Social Security tax. Was it removed, or does it have some kind of scale to it?
So I think it has a little bit of a scale to it, depending on what your other income is. But for somebody who lives just on Social Security, and that's the people that we're trying to help, just on Social Security, most, if not all of that, is now tax-free. Prior to the bill, 85% of it was subject to federal income tax, and every state has their own policy. Some tax it, some don't. But this will be a help to Social Security recipients, especially those who rely solely on Social Security payments for their livelihood.
One other question you brought up, consumer spending is up even while high gas prices up. That's kind of an oxymoron, isn't it?
I was surprised. Consumer spending is up. Retail sales, I think last month it was up 0.6% in 1 month. Now, if you multiply that by 12, in other words, it does that every month, you're talking over a 7% increase in retail sales, which is extremely good for the economy. I think all the negative press about the high gas prices are just sort of depressing people, and they're causing them to feel badly. When in reality, wage increases up until this last inflation number were greater than inflation, which means people are getting real increases in wages and income, which typically makes people feel good. But again, all the negative press about how terrible things are, I think, is causing people to kind of look negatively on the economy.
When the average American is struggling, who's gaining by a stock market going through the roof?
So is the average American struggling is the question. I know gas prices are high, but for the average, if it goes from $3 to $4.50, $1.50 a gallon, and you buy 10 gallons of gas a week, it's only $15 a week, $60 a month. Certainly, it hurts many people, but I don't know that many are really struggling. As I said, wages are going up until this last month, greater than inflation, so people are getting a real increase. Now, the stock market. So who does that benefit? It benefits anybody that owns stocks. And virtually all of us own stocks. Everybody has a retirement plan, or most people have a retirement plan. And the retirement plan usually is in stocks, sometimes in bonds, but usually in stocks. And as the market goes up, I look at what my, I don't have a 401k, it's a teacher's insurance kind of thing, but I look at what my portfolio has done. In the last year, I think it's gone up 30%. So I'm going to benefit from that, not directly, not immediately rather, but when I retire, I've got a little more there. So a rising stock market is good, I think, for the average person, very good for companies and investors that have a lot of money in the stock market. It means their equity is going up, gives them more capital to invest back in the economy. And we have a capital-intensive economy, not a labor-intensive like we used to have. Mm-hmm. It's a capital-intensive economy. We need large amounts of capital to have this economy grow. And when the stock market's going up, more capital is being created, and that's a good thing.
One other quick question, Professor, before I take a break. The labor numbers seem to be pretty encouraging, and yet we've all been threatened by AI. I guess it hasn't hit yet, right?
So AI, it's going to be much more of a plus than it is a minus. You're right. Some companies who have sort of data entry level jobs and some other kind of things, that'll be eliminated. But every worker will become more productive using AI. And everybody I talk to, even myself, as I use it, it makes me able to do more things in the course of a day. It makes me more productive. So in the long run, it's a definite help to the economy. In the short run, there will be some job displacement that we're going to have to work through. But in the long run, AI is going to be very positive, just like personal computers. They first came out and people said, well, all these secretaries are going to lose their jobs and all these people are going to lose their jobs. And there was some disruption. But in the long run, personal computers have made all of us very productive, and we're able to do a lot more. Same thing with AI.
Great stuff. All right, let me take a quick break here. Again, always an honor to have with us Professor Michael Bustler's with us, and he's a professor of finance there at Stockton University in New Jersey. Now a columnist for Newsmax. He does have a website, muckrack.com/Michael Bustler, and there's a picture of that landing page. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Welcome back, and always an honor to have with us Professor Michael Bustler, professor of finance there at Stockton University in New Jersey. He's also now a columnist for Newsmax. Congratulations. He does have a website, muckrack.com/Michael Bustler, and there's a picture of that landing page. Hi, Professor, we briefly touched on inflation. What's your take on it today?
So it's all tied to what happens to oil. Energy prices are down. Now, a little bit of the big picture. So when Trump got into office, the inflation rate was 2.9%. He got it down to 2.4%. Then it started to inch up again. Now with this Iran conflict, the inflation rate is up close to 4% as measured on an annualized basis. If the price of oil comes back down, and it was down to $75, I think it's back up to 80 today, but $70, if it continues to go down to under 70 and maybe close to $60, gasoline prices will be down well under $3 a gallon, maybe as low as $2.50. If all that happens with the supply side tax cuts that are in, we'll see the inflation rate on an annualized basis probably hit 2% by the end of the year and stay at 2% or less going forward. Now, all this hinges on the price of energy and how quickly we can get the price of energy down. The longer it stays inflated, the more it gets embedded into the economy and the more difficult it will be to bring the inflation rate down. This conflict has got to get over quickly. As you know, I was listening to your last guest here. President Trump is doing something that's really hasn't been done before. So he went in and did what he did militarily, but he didn't finish the job. And he said, I don't want to go in and destroy Iran's economy and kill tens of thousands of people if I don't have to. He said, we got rid of the top level of these mullahs. We got rid of the second level. We're down to the third. Maybe these people will be a little more rational in negotiating. Now, your last guest didn't think that. He said this jihad philosophy is embedded in these people, and unless you beat them militarily and wipe out the regime, his view was, this thing will never really get over.
Yeah.
President Trump says, I think, and I don't know if he's going to be right or wrong, President Trump said, I think I can make a deal with these new leaders that are in here and show them that it's to their benefit to cooperate economically rather than try to kill death to America and death to Israel, and all that does is kill people.
Yeah.
I don't think historically the Iran regime has thought like that, but President Trump hopes that with the new people coming in, maybe there's a chance. Frankly, I think it's a very slim chance, but I would rather take that chance rather than go in right away and kill tens of thousands of people.
That's well said. Thank you. Well said. Three of my pet peeves, and kind of reiterating a little bit, have been the cost of health care, capital gains, and stabilizing the property tax for seniors. In other words, freeze it. But I want to come back to health care. That's the other economic deal breaker for the middle class. And it's getting out of hand, and it's getting worse. And you have health care. We have one here in our own backyard, a big one, that's financially in trouble. And I realize the tug of war between the provider and the insurance, all of that is a constant. What's your take on the health care issue in America?
The rising cost of health care is a disaster. I think the quality of health care is very good, but this rising cost, and we need to do something about that. Now, doing something about that doesn't mean the taxpayer is going to pick up the bill. Doing something about that means we have to actually get the cost down. So how do we do that? So I wrote a piece for Newsmax a couple of weeks ago, and I looked at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and they gave me a list of the top 10 professions by average salary, top 10. All 10 of them were in the medical field. So, orthopedic surgeons, general surgeons, dermatologists, radiologists, all of them were in the top 10 on an average salary. So one thing we have to do, now look, these people are always going to earn an above average salary. They have to go through so much medical school and residency and internships and all that. But I mean, some of these are earning $500,000-$600,000 a year on average. Why is all that? I believe, according to research, the American Medical Association limits the number of slots for students to become doctors. Now, they say they do that because they don't want the quality of health care to go down. But I happened to look at this years ago, and I found for every opening in medical school, there were at least 5 qualified candidates, not 5 candidates, or more than 5, but 5 qualified candidates. We should let more than just one of them become doctors. If you increase the supply of doctors, increase the supply of other medical professions, there'll be more competition, and every time that happens, the price of the product goes down and the quality tends to improve. So in my view, we need more competition in the medical field, more doctors, more health professionals, and I think that's one thing we can do to bring the cost down, because otherwise these costs just keep going up. And I took a look at what I'm paying for health insurance this year. It's ridiculous. It's just my wife and I. We're paying $26,000 a year for health insurance, and people just can't afford that. So we need to do something about that as soon as possible.
Yeah, big time. Where does insurance come into this?
So you say, well, insurance is a good thing because no matter what, you don't have to worry about a big catastrophic event occurring. The problem is consumers never see exactly what something costs. You know, because my insurance is covering it. That's all I care about. And if they saw what some of these things are actually being charged, now some people look at their bill and they say, well, you know, the doctor charged $1,000 to see me. The insurance company only allowed $400. That's all he got paid. But even then, you say the $400, I was only in there for 30 minutes. You know, he did a couple things with me. Why is it so much money? So if we, one of the things President Trump tried to do is get this transparent pricing where you see exactly what these things cost. There's got to be a better way to do this. Obamacare essentially, and they promised us the premiums would go down, and they've skyrocketed. And insurance companies, if you look at their profitability numbers, they are extremely profitable. So something's got to change here to get the costs down and get things a little more fair. We have people in Congress who are supposed to do this. I don't know what they're doing.
Well, there seems to be a large gap between the insurance company and the provider because I pay employees insurance here. It's always all of a sudden root canals are fun. You know? But what I've found out is that there is a negotiator, so to speak. So if you have a claim, your insurance agent will help you negotiate with the insurance company to settle, which tells me from what the provider is charging and what the insurance will accept is a huge gap. I mean, isn't that somewhat of an admittance that there's some gouging going on?
I think so. Some of these providers put in ridiculously high numbers, at least the way I see it. Insurance companies essentially say, look, I've got millions of people here, so I'm going to add you to our network, but we're only going to pay you $400 for this. So on the good side, insurance is able to get some of these costs down that these providers are charging. I don't think they're getting it down enough. And I think if we had more competition and more transparency in the prices so people see what they're actually paying, I think that would go a long way to reducing insurance companies' profits and having them provide better service to us.
Okay, I guess overall, how would you rate the economy today?
I think the economy is very good. The only problem is this Iran conflict and the impact on energy prices. This has got to get resolved as soon as possible. And when it finally does, and oil's back down to where it was before the Iran conflict, or maybe even lower, I think the economy is set to take off. It's going to have rapid growth, more job opportunities for virtually every well-prepared American. And I'm very optimistic going forward if we can get this Iran conflict resolved as soon as possible.
Is the Trump prescription drug thing working?
Marvelously. If you take a look at what happened? Why did we have a problem? So drug companies, they look to develop new drugs. On average, 1 out of 10 that they think can make it to market, only 1 does. So the one that does has to absorb the cost of the other 9. Plus, the one that makes it to the market, it costs $500-600 million to bring a drug to the market. All these tests you have to do and trial runs, et cetera. So what the insurance companies were doing is saying, look, the Americans can afford to pay more. I want to sell it all over the world, but other countries can't afford to pay this much. So I'm going to charge the Americans a high number and everybody else a lower number so that everybody can get it. And the discrepancies were ridiculous. I know an acquaintance that has cancer, had to get a cancer drug. His insurance company paid for it, but he saw the bill was $10,000. He went to the Canadian pharmacy, the exact same drug, not a generic made by somebody else, the exact same drug was $702. So President Trump said, America first. We're not going to do this anymore. Most favored nations, you have to charge the American consumers what you're charging everybody else. So he started his own website, Trump RX, and he brought the cost of these things down. Very good.
Fran, good. Way over time.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Season is Shine, a new inspiring program for women. Through meaningful and relatable conversations, we'll help you discover God's purpose in every season, empowering you to shine. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 4 p.m. on theDove TV.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from theDove TV. theDove TV wishes you a happy 4th of July as America celebrates. Good morning. You're tuned to theDove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you, and welcome to Mornings on the Dove. A beautiful day in the neighborhood it is, and it's a beautiful day for us to have our buddy Steve Johnson joining us live from Tucson, Arizona this morning. He has his cup of mug.
I had to reach over to get it. It's kind of in the distance here, but you got to have the coffee this morning.
Got to have the coffee. There it is. And how you doing, buddy? How are things down there? Hot?
You know what, though? It's a dry heat. You know what? It's not bad. It really isn't bad. I was actually standing outside yesterday, and somebody came up next to me, and we were talking, and he goes, well, I'll let you get out of the heat. And it's like, I don't know. Am I acclimating myself to it? I don't know. It wasn't too bad. Hey, it's hot, but it's hot where you are, too.
Yeah, well, it warmed up and cooled off, and it's going to warm up a little bit this weekend, or this week, and then cool off towards the weekend again. So pretty nice weather all the way around. Good morning. Well, a lot going on. Well, it looks like the UK is going to look for another prime minister, I guess. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Kind of a shock this morning. Wake up that Prime Minister